production of solar panels, also declaring a 2-year tariff exemption on panels from Southeast Asia. Industry groups have complained the solar sector is being slowed by supply chain issues blamed on a Commerce Department review of possible trade violations involving Chinese products. Mass shootings over the weekend remain under investigation in Philadelphia and Chattanooga, Tennessee, where Mayor Tim Kelly tells Fox News solutions are needed from Washington.
This is not the time or the place for a partisan food fight. This is a time when we need to come together and find out what we can agree on at the federal level to help prevent this sort of thing.
Bipartisan talks have been underway in the U.S. Senate. In New York, the governor signing into law several measures, including raising the age to buy semi-automatic weapons from 18 to 21. America is listening to Fox News.
Big news. Greta Van Susteren is back. She's the host of Newsmax's new show, The Record with Greta Van Susteren. Starting June 14th, Greta reports on the really big stories you need to know. She's smart, tough, and always fair. Get the latest info about her new show. Text the word Greta to 39747. Millions are making the switch to Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems and streaming platforms. Don't miss this. Text Greta to 39747 now. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. I want to speak to the dads who are being denied access to their kids, excluded from key parenting decisions, are contending with child support issues. In all of these cases, doing nothing is probably not a good strategy. The law has given you rights, but you have to assert them. If the challenge is the cost of an attorney, Cordell & Cordell offers a capped fee option. Give us a call.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon, about 79 degrees, and that's because of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Kind of a wet afternoon as far as the overall scope is concerned. Tonight, any fading showers get out of the picture early evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, 65. Tuesday and Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Nothing more than a spotty shower or thunder shower. Lots of dry time. 78 to 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case.
Michael Sussman there gloating a little bit, I guess you could say, because he was found not guilty of the same thing that they found General Flynn guilty of.
Weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m.
The network, several of them jumped on this because they could say it was a stinging defeat for John Durham. Well, who's John Durham?
They haven't covered it at all.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Donate your car to Goodwill and get 4 free tickets to Six Flags. Ride the greats like the Screaming Eagle or hang out at Hurricane Harbor. Donating a car to Goodwill is easy. Towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
My friends at Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw's wonderful establishment of the Retirement Advisory Group are waiting for you to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review to make sure that in a crazy, crazy economic world right now that you don't have to worry. That anxiety that you might have, and honestly, that you might just be suppressing every time it kind of trickles into your mind. You push it out, you block it out, and you say, I'll deal with that later. Chances are, if you're 55 or older, you might be running out of time to push that away and deal with it later. Deal with it now so that you can acquire that worry-free retirement that you've been hoping for your whole life. You've been sacrificing and saving, and Thomas Helbig has the answer to you with the Retirement Advisory Group to make sure that that retirement is going to be there the way you expected to pay you back for all of the hard work, sacrifice, dedication you've had to assembling it. For a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review with Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group, call them at 314-993-9494 and schedule your appointment today. You can visit them online at retirementkey.com.
I'm Mike Carter. There are a lot of politicians in Washington who will never get it about the hardworking people of Missouri, that we love our country and our flag, family, faith, and freedom are worth preserving. Those who come to our country should do so legally. Parents have a voice in their children's education. Police officers are the good guys. And we're not giving up our guns. If that offends the media, too bad. I'm Judge Mike Carter, Republican candidate for state senator in the 10th District. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. This is Judge Mike Carter. I'm running for Senate here in Lincoln and St. Charles County. What you may not know is I run the Cowboy Judge Show on ABC on the weekends. You can actually check out all the episodes at MikeCarter.com, and you might see Mike Wood, Lincoln County Prosecutor, Tim Lomar, St. Charles County Prosecutor. We actually talk a little bit about Pam Hupp and the things that they have to do on a regular basis to keep us safe in our communities in Lincoln and St. Charles County. The Cowboy Judge Show on ABC on the weekends. Go to MikeCarter.com and check it out. Paid for by me, Mike Carter.
Leaving a child in a hot vehicle can lead to their death very quickly. If you see a child left unattended and can't locate their parents, call 911. If the child looks unresponsive, do whatever it takes to get him or her out safely, including breaking the window. Your actions may save the life of a child.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
That people start seeing around the corner, to be honest. And, when you think woke, you definitely think the left. And I think people are sick of it. And as a result, with that election, they realize they got to make a shift. So, no, I don't think you're overstating it. I think it's been coming for a while. And, it's one of those things. Me Too and BLM, those all had great reasons to start, and they needed to be happen, but they just went too far, way too far. And people started hijacking those causes for political gain, whether it be, Business Insider or the New York Times or Washington Post. They're not really caring about the issues. They're caring about advancing their own agendas.
Dave Portnoy there saying what I feel like I've been thinking and saying here on this show. And I'm really glad to hear this being discussed on a broader scale. And I do it's starting to happen, folks. Hold on tight, because you're an important part of this process. The idea of the woke agenda, the idea that there are going to be these outside, they're almost lobbyist groups for citizens, not politicians. They use causes that in many cases are worthy causes. He mentioned Me Too right there. The Me Too movement really flushed out a lot of disgusting behavior that was taking place across the entire country, but specifically amongst the Hollywood types, the celebrity types, who are the ones who were preaching the most about it. Given the platform, in many cases, the celebrity culture would be out there talking about, the power of women needing to stand up and pushing back against what they referred to, which we all now understand as the patriarchy, and this upside down world where men have a level of power in a particular industry over women. And it turned out that they were victims themselves. And instead of coming out and exposing the people who were the victimizers of their personal experience, they came out on stages in gowns that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, jewelry that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, living an existence that you and I could never possibly relate to. And instead of disparaging their victimizers, who in some cases were literally sitting in the crowd in front of them, they disparaged men. It's a pretty broad brush, I would say. This is one slice of the pie of the woke culture. And what we have is an instance where there is an individual who has been victimized by somebody and who deserves justice in that standpoint, and if there is a culture in that industry, using this as a specific example, of course, if there's a culture in that industry that needs to be turned inside out and upside down so that people can stop taking advantage of other people, expose it, lay it bare, take it to the people who are guilty of the sins that these people are speaking of. But that's not the way the industry works. That's not the way Woke Business Inc. works. What ends up happening is some of these personal experiences that do show and indicate that there is something wrong with a specific culture. And I'm not talking about a demographical culture. I'm talking about maybe the Hollywood elite status, where there are people there who understand that the business goes the way the business goes. The casting couch is there for a reason. Well, maybe it shouldn't be. And if people are abusing that casting couch, then what you need to do is get rid of the casting couch and the bad people who are involved in it. What Woke Business Inc. does is they come in and they see victims, and then they start to salivate and drool. And you know what they see? They no longer see the victim. They see money. It's really that simple. And it's not just the Me Too movement. The Black Lives Matter movement was based on instances that have occurred across the country where there were Black people who were treated differently in law enforcement interactions because they were Black. But you know what that indicates? That there are some bad people who are cops. Not that cops are bad. So if you have an instance where somebody, let's talk about Ahmaud Arbery. Let's talk about his death. It's a disgusting example of racism fully on display. Folks, this exists. But when you apply every instance of crime that exists across the country, and the first thing you look at is the skin color of the person whose life is lost and the uniform color of the person who's involved, and then you go on and apply the skin color. It's weird because in only that instance, I can't think of another one, the color of the person's uniform supersedes the color of their skin. Because in every other instance where the woke discussion is taking place, in every other instance, the skin color is the predominant thing. With these lobbyist groups for voters, they're lobbying voters. Let me ask you a question. Do bad cops exist? Pause. Answer in your car. Of course they do. I agree with you. Yes, bad police officers exist because bad everything exists. If some bad police officers exist, if there are people who have been victimized by these bad police officers, I've heard this a million times, but you know who can't stand those people the most? The good police officers. And there are infinitely more good police officers than there are bad. And when you see somebody who's been victimized in an instance where there's a law enforcement situation involved, and somebody comes in and sees that this victim has been victimized by this other individual in any particular circumstance, they don't see the victim, they see money. They see the opportunity to then use that same victim for their own purposes to raise money. It happens over and over and over again. And they play upon the goodwill, the good nature, the caring nature of most of America. Because when somebody asks you the question, do you think that men should be able to take advantage of women to cast them in roles in movies? Nobody says yes. And if they do, let them speak so that we can know to ostracize and isolate them away from the community. Let the jerks identify themselves as jerks so that they can be known for who they are in their own words, and nothing needs to be applied to them. Let them speak their mind, and then make your judgments based on what those individuals say. In the instance of law enforcement, if you know that there are people who have been mistreated by law enforcement. And yes, this happens. And no, it's not always a racial thing. There are white people who have been mistreated by law enforcement as well. But those are bad people who chose to be police officers, and it needs to be handled accordingly. It should never be stood for. If anybody comes up to you and says, and explains a scenario where an individual, black or white or red, white, green, blue, or whatever the color is, says, this is my experience, and it's obvious that they were mistreated by the cops, who says, I don't care, I'm with the police officer no matter what? No commonly decent person says that. But if they believe it, allow them to speak up so that we know who they are, so that we can cast those people aside from the discussion. What's the important thing that you need to understand when it comes to the woke business is that companies have seen the success of these special interest groups, and the most important thing is the influencers who get behind these causes and then end up being free publicity for businesses who decide, you know what, I'm hitching my wagon to that. I'm following that path. That path is being forged and people are following it, and I'm hitching the wagon to that because why? Money. Again, it's always money. It's always money. Individual companies, if you're a Nike, if you're a Coca-Cola, if you're Major League Baseball, if you're any of these instances, and Major League Baseball is the most, in my opinion, the most embarrassing example of this. They quickly take the temperature of the minute in time where everybody is up in arms about a particular issue, and then they make a very big, rash decision because they think they're going to, listen to this word, capitalize on the moment in time. And when Major League Baseball comes into Georgia and says, I'm sorry, you racist bigots, we can't have the All-Star game in Atlanta because your election laws hurt black people, and then they send the All-Star game to Colorado, to Denver, Colorado, where the election laws are in some cases more strict than they were in Georgia. When they say Major League Baseball steps in and the Major League Baseball, listen, the Commissioner Manfred, he did this for black people. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they're selling you. But why did he really do it? Money. He thought that by making this decision, his bottom line would be improved. It's almost equal to prostitution. And in some cases, it's the same. For a decade, we have seen companies and brands and products be marketed to us because there is a virtue that is signaled when you possess said product or use said service. The industry, the business of woke, is a capitalistic business where people around boardroom tables making decisions about the next direction that they want to go in, they make those decisions based on money. It is not because they care about the victims who are involved in the causes that they say that they support. If you have any question about this, June being Pride Month, look at all the American Twitter accounts of all of the places that are changing their logos, their little profile pictures to make sure that it indicates the rainbow in the background. Because if you don't put the rainbow in the background, then you are obviously a hateful person. That's how this industry works. They put the rainbow on there. It's like the lamb's blood on top of the door so that the angel of death passes by that company. But anybody who doesn't, they're going to be devoured by some sort of woke mob. You put the pride flag up and you support June being Pride Month, but then go look at if they're a global company, go look at their profile pictures on their accounts that exist in countries where it is punishable by death to be homosexual. For some reason, their cause in those countries is not worth their voice. It's about getting your money. It's about creating a brand relationship where people, they sell virtue to their consumers, and their consumers see that this company supports this particular issue, and you partner together. When you purchase their good or buy their service, you are partnering with this brand to stand up for a greater cause. Well, guess what? That's what they sold to you. The idea that your money out of your pocket to their company is a partnership. To them, it is not. To them, it is a brilliant marketing scheme that has been put in place and replicated and expanded over the course of the last decade to get your money. Look across the board. How many of these issues have gotten better in the 10 years that you've been purchasing virtue from all of these brands who have nothing to do with virtue? You just need tennis shoes so you can take a run. You just want to sit down and watch a 2.5-hour sporting event because you had a long day at work and it's just time to sit down and relax and kick up and watch your favorite team play a sport. I think that America is onto this. Now watch how many people in corporate America actually come back and do the flip. The virtue that they were signaling before, that's no longer working with regular America. Now they're going to flip it. They're not going to learn from their lesson. They're going to sell you the virtue they think that you want now. This is how this works. And America's sick and tired of it. We're going to take a quick break because some very special guests have just walked into the studio here. We have Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey and his lovely bride in studio with us. And I'm taking your questions. I have a few questions of my own. We've been having so many of the Illinois governor candidates on, but great to have Darren Bailey in studio with us here on 97.1. Great time to get on the live stream and watch us there. You can send your questions into the show. And he might field some of those in just a minute. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. 97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk, right here, right now.
The relationship you have with your financial advisor is very important, and individual relationships can't be scaled into a blanket approach for retirement planning. At Heisey Advisory Group, we believe you should work with an advisor that you have a genuine relationship with and trust. Every retirement planning firm has different beliefs on how you should prepare for retirement. And there are a lot of moving parts involved in creating a plan. There are dozens of different theories, philosophies, and systems that advisors use to describe their approaches. But in the end, the measurement of success relies a lot on the relationship you have with your advisor. Don't wait to find someone who listens and values your retirement goals and dreams. Call Heisey Advisory Group today to see if we could be the right connection to bring you to and through retirement. Call 314-328-6000. That's 314-328-6000.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I'm a martial artist, a pilot, mountain biker, hiker. The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. I wear them all the time. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
Diabetic neuropathy, cold feet, resting leg pain, foot wounds that don't heal. These are classic signs of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Left untreated, PAD can lead to gangrene and even lower limb amputation. Modern Vascular is a healthcare leader in the outpatient treatment of PAD. Last year, over 10,000 patients across the country chose Modern Vascular for the diagnosis and treatment of their PAD. Modern Vascular clinics consistently receive high Google review ratings and have received over 500 five-star patient reviews in the last 12 months. In fact, Modern Vascular has been recognized as the best PAD treatment specialist in the country. If you or someone you love is experiencing the symptoms of PAD, don't ignore it. Visit modernvascular.com today or call 844-4PAD-HELP to schedule a consultation in our local clinic. That's 844-4PAD-HELP.
It's time for an $89 AC tune-up.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I took a walk around the world.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. But I watched the world flip to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah.
When I became governor 3 years ago, Illinois had not passed a capital bill in almost a decade. And that one was interrupted by our previous governor. The leaders standing with me today know what happens when the state doesn't invest in the basics. Infrastructure crumbles, our future growth slows, businesses and families see fewer reasons to call Illinois home. Our Rebuild Illinois capital plan is all about growing our economy and making Illinois the best place to start a business and to raise a family.
Oh, making Illinois the best place to start a business and start a family. Well, why is it that everybody I know who has the choice and the option is fleeing the state for free red states that really do surround the state of Illinois? Y'all know my thoughts on J.B. Pritzker if you've been listening to this show for any amount of time, but somebody who has a particular interest in what this governor says and potentially, I hope, a lot of things to offer that might be different than what J.B. Pritzker says is Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey, who is a Republican candidate for governor in the state of Illinois, and he is in studio with us right now. Darren Bailey, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It is an absolute honor to be here today.
I'm just going to tell you the God's honest truth. We've had all of the other candidates on in the Republican primary. And most often when I have somebody on who's not you, I get angry messages from people saying, you need to have Darren Bailey on. I'm like, there is no candidate who has been on my show more for longer than Darren Bailey. But now you're here in studio, and I'm glad about that.
That is correct. And that's so awesome because I want to remind you the first time that I was on your show was when I signed on as co-sponsor to HR 101, the whole separation issue. And I challenge people to go back to that because my stance, it never changes. I don't waver. And my stance, when you ask me, why did I do that? I remember I gave you the example of a marriage that was failing and one of the spouses is waving saying, we're not happy here. So my intent and goal was to never separate, but bring to realization the vast disparity between Chicago and the rest of the state. And that's what I intend. That's only drifted further apart since then. And as governor, I'll be bringing that home and close together, and we will be a united state with Chicago becoming a great entity as it should be.
I love that response to that particular issue because a lot of people have been over the course of time, it kind of ebbs and flows, interested in that separation from Chicago mentality. I think, is Chicago 2/3 of the population of Illinois?
A little less than that, but close. Yes, it's over half, so about 60%. So
it's a big chunk.
Chicago and the suburbs, the surrounding the collar counties. Not all of Chicago and Cook County, but that does include some of the collar counties that ramp up to about 62-65% of the population.
So you being a Southern Illinoisan understand what it's like to live in a state that pretty much goes the way, oh, you're from Illinois? We're in Chicago. Well, not anywhere close, actually. when we talk about the state as a whole, the only way that Illinois is going to become a strong state in the future is with a strong Chicago. I would say right now, as a downstater, that Chicago is in about as much disarray as it could possibly be.
I think I've addressed that pretty
Room for
clearly.
improvement.
So
Yeah.
I've been very vocal about that. And some Chicagoans didn't appreciate me calling the city of Chicago a hellhole as I did recently. And I preface that with the crime-ridden, corrupt, dysfunctional, and that explains all that. I want to remind people this: within 6 hours after I made that comment, a homeless man who everyone in the Loop area, downtown area, knew well, was set on fire. And the following weekend there were over 56 shootings with 10 deaths. And I'm listening to the news this morning on the Dan and Amy show and the Morning Answer on AM 560, and the news is plagued and covered with shootings and robberies, and it's a mess. And it's interesting because I listened to the clip that you started off with Governor Pritzker and blaming the Republicans. The Democrats were in charge of the process of the entire time that Bruce Rauner was governor, and he failed to get anything done because of that. The Democrats have been in charge of Illinois for most people's recent memory, and they have failed us. That's the problem. They're in the super majority right now. So anything that they think should be done, well, it certainly could have been done. And Democrat leadership is sitting idly by, allowing a tyrant, J.B. Pritzker, to continue to offer these executive orders, 30 executive orders in 2 years. That is insane. And that is how we lose a constitutional republic.
Yeah, I remind people, we have a very split audience, 50-50 here between Illinois and Missouri, that what is going on in the state of Illinois is important for people in red states, especially neighboring red states, to understand that it's almost as if this is a test kitchen, along with California, New York, maybe New Jersey from time to time, or Connecticut, economically speaking, that we are putting into place all of these incredibly not democratic ideals. These are far left progressive. These are off the beaten path for normal union Democrats that, still like their guns, don't really love to pay taxes, but their union says this is what you do. I think that's a huge contingent of them. I get a lot of comments from them. In Illinois, we have moved so far to the left that there are a lot of Democrats out there right now who don't recognize the party that's in the supermajority. What do you say to those voters out there right now who think that Republican is a dirty word, but cannot support what's going on with this Democrat supermajority in the state of Illinois?
Well, unfortunately, Republican has become a dirty word because Republicans have been lazy. We have absolutely no leadership in the state of Illinois from the Republican Party, and that has allowed us to regress to the position we're at. And I think that's why we've been able to rise through this journey. I had no desire to be a state rep or a senator or a governor. I want to work and flourish and farm and grow with my family in Southeast Illinois. But when times arise that men and women must step up, we're simply answering the call, and we are hearing every day just exactly what you said from even union members on both sides of the party who come to us, and they're so disgusted because their unions tell them, as you suggested, how they must vote. But I don't believe they're going to. I think we've got a new opportunity, and for the first time in 30 years, we're going to have a Republican governor who's going to set and truly represent the people and communicate hope and prosperity, the truth of what Illinois will look like. And I think we're going to make it happen.
It's interesting. To me, it's crazy to hear somebody speak so with so much hope about the future of the state of Illinois. I cover the news stories here, but I even have to pick and choose what I put out there because it's just a barrage of negativity. Now on the federal national scale, it is the same thing. There is no good news out there for people to consume. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. You don't even have to turn on the news to know that it's bad. You experience it at the pump. You experience it at the grocery store. You experience it when you go try to buy. I have an 11-month-old baby and had to have a very dear friend of mine who volunteered while she was in central Missouri to look in the grocery stores there to find the formula that I need. And she brought me back a can of formula. And the price on that has gone up so high. Inflation is plaguing people in Illinois worse than it is in other states because of Democrat policies that are in place.
I'd like to add, and you experience every day when your children come home from school, when you learn what they're learning and you understand what they're not learning. And we're a mess.
Well, I send my kids to a Lutheran school. I think that Christian education, I've said this a long time, that it's for me and for my house, the important thing is that Jesus is the first thing. I know that's not everybody's take, but I'm glad and blessed to have the ability to make that choice for my kids. I still pay all the same taxes that I would pay had my kids attended public school. School choice is a huge deal right now.
It's coming. It's coming.
Vouchers. I could just leave it at that. That sounds good.
It's coming.
Are you looking at the public school system right now and thinking that this is doable with the temperature of parents?
Oh yeah,
today?
It is. It is. Our children are our most valuable asset, and so we've got to protect them with all the shootings that's taking place. We've got to make sure that their future is insured with the education that we offer. So, I served for 17 years on a public school board in North Clay at Louisville from 1995 to 2012. Interestingly enough, when I got off of that board, God opened the door, and Cindy and I started a Full Armor Christian Academy that's home to over 360 students preschool through high school right now. So 2 locations. We've got a 3rd location coming because people are wanting it. What we do, day one, we fire the state superintendent of education, Dr. Ayala. We cleanse the school board. We put men and women in place of these agencies and agency heads who desire change. Competition is good. It's good with business. We know that. So we create the voucher system. We allow competition. The money should follow the children. Parents should have a decision on where they send their children to school at, and that's how we save. That's how we save a public education, and it will happen.
You said something there that I think is important to key in on, because those are all good policies and those are good ideas that I fully support. But as the governor, if you were to become the governor, you would have specific powers to do specific things. And you listed off the superintendent. Can't remember everybody who you listed off there. Is that in your purview?
That's day one.
That's day one.
Every
and what
agency.
kind of power do those people have that when you replace them, Darren Bailey, those same powers transfer to that person, and then the policies start to go?
Absolutely. It's interesting because education as a whole has deteriorated. People don't realize that the governor has the ability. The governor places administrators, the trustees to our public colleges, our state, grant universities. So I think everyone understands the power that the State Board of Education has held, because we've heard a lot from them this past year, because they've been a conduit of J.B. Pritzker's tyrannical actions. He told them what to do. They did it. And so we put men and women, we free the process up, and we make sure that parents are heard. Parents being empowered and heard by their local schools and their local school boards. And we make sure parents understand the true role that they have in their children's education. Mm-hmm. We get the state mandates out and free the schools up so that local control rules the day.
There's another thing you said that I'm just going to give you the opportunity to respond to since you're here. I get all bent out of shape about this, and I'm thinking maybe I should lighten up a little bit. But when people say our kids, especially politicians, I always say, no, they're my kids. So the role of government, and you're here looking to be in charge of Illinois in a way that we have not had the opportunity, in my opinion, in my lifetime. I know Bruce Rauner was a Republican. He was unable to govern, and he also didn't do a lot of things that he said that he would, and I'm clear on that. But when people in government say our kids, sometimes I think they mean our kids. I'm curious what you think the role of government is in the sharing of children when it comes to my rights as a parent to choose what I want for my kids and where government fits into that relationship.
So through repealing through restoring, parental notification, I believe wholeheartedly it is the parent who has the role of the primary care of the children, period. Through our administration, we will reduce the role of government in every aspect. Now, people are, well, what about mental health? No, we're going to empower churches, religious groups, civic organizations that already exist. Those are the people that I want to work with. Government is not the answer. Government is the problem. Less government all the way around. I want government out of our lives. The number one role of government is to protect its people. And here in the United States, we can't even do that. We have an open border. We have a sanctuary state, Mayor Irvin, mayor of one of the first sanctuary cities. That's what's, the flow of human trafficking, illegal drugs, gang activity. That's all coming because government isn't performing its number one duty. Less government, parents take charge of their children's education.
I like that answer. I'm okay with that. All right. You brought up another person's name, so we're going to take a break there. And when I come back, we have heard on this station, I've seen the Google ads. Oh my gosh, the Google ad, the YouTube ads. They're very prevalent. People spend a lot of money to try to convince voters what's real and what's not. And my number one question I get about the Illinois Republican primary for governor is, Annie, what in the world is true? We're going to ask Darren Bailey about all the things that he's been accused of when we come back. If you're okay with that. Are you ready for that?
I am.
All right. Fantastic. Join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're streaming live. If you want to get a question in, make the comment there. And if we can get to them, we will on the other side of the break. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You call me strong, you call me weak, but still your secrets I will keep.
The Mark Reardon Show. They're now putting out pickle-flavored Mountain Dew. It's one of the several new flavors. It could be more popular than apple cinnamon, elderberry, and s'mores. No one wants any of that.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
I'm Mike Carter, and I voted in 1999 for conceal and carry here in Missouri. Guns empower citizens. Foreign governments have said they would never invade the United States because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. I like the sound of that. Not only was the Second Amendment meant to protect us from our own government, the world knows Americans value their Second Amendment rights and won't see them compromised like in some other countries. I'm Judge Mike Carter, Republican for State Senate in District 10. Your Second Amendment is safe with me. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. I'm Mike Carter, Republican for State Senate in the new 10th District. Our new district stretches from Fulton and Callaway County to Montgomery City, Troy and Lincoln County, Louisiana and Bowling Green and Pike, Wentzville and Forestell. Welcome to Trump country. In our new state Senate district, what connects us are the things we love, our flag, our country, our freedoms. Like President Trump, I'll defend the unborn, our Second Amendment, and your tax dollars. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more, paid for by Team Mike Carter, Mike Carter Treasurer.
Just how low will a politician go to get elected? Ask Darren Bailey. Bailey's letting J.B. Pritzker finance his campaign. Over $5 million from the Democrats meddling in our primary, trying to buy the Republican nomination for Bailey. Pritzker finally admitted it.
There's a new ad from the Democratic Governors Association to help Bailey in the primary. You're behind this ad.
Yeah, I support that ad. It elevates attention to all of the good. I'm simply trying to tell everybody who Darren Bailey is.
And Bailey's downright giddy about it.
You're glad to see those ads from the Democratic Governors Association?
Oh, yeah, I do. And that's beautiful.
So craven. Darren Bailey sold out at the drop of a dime for Democrat money. Easy to buy, easy to beat. Pritzker knows Bailey's too weak to win in November. And he shouldn't, because he's just like Pritzker. Darren Bailey raised our property taxes 13 times, 81% higher. Pritzker's favorite tax-raising Republican. We can never trust him again. Paid for by Urban for Illinois.
Hi, this is Ken. And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
I saw you dance dancing in a crowded room.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Teardrop falling from your eye. I don't know why I run away. I'll make you cry when I run away.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Save your tears. That's what we're speaking to the entire state of Illinois right now with Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey in studio with us, a Republican candidate for governor in the state of Illinois. I will remind you that primary is June 28th, but because we're Illinois, you can pretty much vote all year, but it's already started. You can go vote now. If you are motivated by what you hear from Darren Bailey and you decide you want to go cast your ballot, I encourage all Illinois voters that are listening to this show to vote early. I won't say often because that's what the other people do. Darren Bailey didn't say that. I said that. Thanks for being in here. I'm so glad to have you in studio. The conversation so far has been great. A lot of people are saying a lot of things about you. First of all, just briefly, is it hard to hear some of the attacks that have been levied at you?
No, I have pretty thick skin. I've grown up. We've been pretty aggressive in business over the years, and in our farming practice, we work hard and we keep our nose to the grindstone and we push through. And there's always somebody that wants to ridicule that. But a lot of people don't realize that 4 years ago, when I ran for state representative, the exact same people that are working with Irvin worked with the Republican Party at the time and the candidate that was raising taxes that I beat. So I can take you to my house and show you all of these flyers that are 4 years old. Yeah, I do, because it's hilarious. So it keeps me humble. So it's all right. So they're all lies, and they used it then in our district in the southeast part of state of Illinois. They found out that, gosh, this is ridiculous, because they served on school boards. They were farmers. They realized that this is nonsense, and people are figuring that out right now.
I have a stack myself, because I'm going to touch base with your camp after we get done here, and in a week or two, try to schedule maybe like a Zoom conversation with you and with the other candidates. And I'm going to go through my stack, and we're going to go through the specific details. And my number one question to you, people are suggesting that you're not a real Republican, and the flyer I got suggests that you have a sheep costume. And my question is, have you ever dressed up as a sheep?
Not, I haven't. No, we've.
If you
when our
win,
kids were
will
young,
you, just for the sake of my entertainment?
Oh, that's hilarious. No,
Don't make a promise you can't
Probably
keep.
not.
Yeah.
So,
are you a real Republican?
So here's what I'll tell you. Absolutely, yes. When you look at, and I'm the only one with the past to prove it. I am the Illinois Senate has the most conservative voting record for the last 2 years because of my doing what we did in the House. They called us the no row. We stood up and said no against much of this nonsense. And I'm running because I got ticked off on tax increases when my liberal Republicans started caving. I've been standing up against the nonsense of this gas tax. Mayor Irvin's hosted a 2-cent gas tax in the city of Aurora. His running mate, Avery Bourne, was one of the 22 sellouts on the Republican Party that did that. So, we think about O'Reilly's show, the Spin Zone of years ago.
Yeah.
And the Democrats do the same thing when you're on the floor. And right now, my opponents are doing the same thing. You take whatever is wrong with you and you spin it.
A little
you
projection.
spin the truth and you throw it and try to make it stick on you.
Yeah.
That's what's taking place. Everything that is being thrown against me is an absolute lie. It's twisted truth, everything.
Did you vote for Joe Biden ever?
I have never voted for Joe Biden. I have, on 2008, Cindy and I participated in Rush Limbaugh's Operation Chaos. And so Google that, check that out. We believed we were doing our conservative duty to bring chaos to the Democrat Party when Obama and Clinton were rising to power. I have never supported a Democrat. And I want to tell you something. I'm the only Republican running for governor who can say that. Every one of the other Republicans have supported a Democrat in one way, shape, or form, and I look forward to showing people that if they want to see that.
Who did you vote for in the 2016 presidential election?
I have always supported President Trump.
Did you vote for him?
Yes, I did.
Did you vote for him in 2020?
Yes, I was a Trump delegate in 2020. Think about that.
There you go, folks. Real quick here, Dan Proft, who is kind of a counterpart to this show in Chicago, released a tweet today, and it's interesting. I'm just going to read it. It says Illinois GOP governor race polling, Fabrizio and Lee, June 1 to 2nd, 600 likely voters, plus minus 3.5%. Ryan Wiggins would love this stuff. Darren Bailey, 27, Irvin, 20, Sullivan, 13, Rabine, 12. Bailey moved 13 points in the last month from -6 to +7. Irvin, favorable and unfavorable, moved 23 points from +17 to -5. What's that about?
Well, I'm not a pollster either to tell you that, but I would tell you we've always been winning. We have a grassroots movement. It's the people. You're watching. You've seen us pull into gas stations and restaurants, and people have. We pulled into I go down in the hotel this morning to grab breakfast and coffee for Cindy, and one of the waitresses comes and tells me, how much they love me and they want to take a picture. We leave there an hour later, stop at another coffee shop to grab another cup of coffee for the road, and two veterans are sitting inside and they want to come out and talk. We've always had the movement. We've got it. But these are the forgotten people. These are the people that are going to stand up, much like they did in 2016 for President Trump. They came out of nowhere because the Republican Party doesn't know they exist. And Governor Pritzker and the Democrats sure as heck don't know they exist. They're fed up. It's the soccer moms. It's the people who have been silent and have been pushed aside. They're the ones that are behind us, and we sense it every day. I'm going to say every mile as we're driving up and down the roads and people are coming up honking and giving us thumbs up. We've known we've had this since the beginning. So that's what that's about.
Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey, candidate for Illinois governor on the Republican side in the primary right now. I don't have a whole lot of time left here. What about your accepting of a large number of government handouts due to your business as a farmer?
Oh, gosh, I'm a farmer. I'm a family farmer, and I'm proud of it. And here's what most people don't realize, and not one of the other governor Republican opponents realize. Farmers cannot even plant their seed without subsidized federal crop insurance. I want you to think about that just a minute. So farming, agriculture is the backbone of America. It's a major economic driver here in Illinois. And, we don't eat without farmers. So
yeah, amen to that.
Per capita, I actually get less per acre than most farmers do. And all that is public information.
Did you accept anything that any other farmers in Illinois don't accept?
No, that is my point. No. And number one, I actually receive less than many farmers get because of the size of our farm.
So if somebody has a problem with you and the way you've accepted subsidies from the government, they have a problem with farmers, not Darren Bailey.
Right. And I have no problem with changing the USDA program. No problem at all. But when the federal government is in charge of our prices because of how they export and import and that's what ultimately sets our price and regulations. Well, you remove that aspect and give us freedom to deal with who we want to, and then we won't have this problem. But you know what's going to change when that happens? The price of food is going to soar in the U.S. We have the cheapest price of food in the world, and it's because of the USDA program. So.
Okay, a couple rapid fire questions here. We only got about 2 minutes left. Today's poll for our audience on our YouTube live chat is, do you support any gun control measures? I'll ask you the same question.
I am very much pro Second Amendment. I will be getting rid of the FOID card. I do not. We must focus on the real issue, which is mental health, and start addressing that.
Okay. Another one is about, you mentioned the gas tax and how one of your opponents did vote in favor of that. Mr. Bailey, this is from Josh on our Facebook page. Mr. Bailey, what would you do to lower the outrageous gas taxes here in Illinois and the registration fees that jumped up 2 years ago under Pritzker?
So we can immediately stop the automatic increase that was part of that bill. I want to repeal that tax increase. It serves no purpose. And then furthermore, we must start drilling for oil. And because of regulations here in Illinois, companies are going to Kentucky and Tennessee and Indiana and doing that. So President Biden started all this mess with shutting the Keystone Pipeline down, and then they have literally regulated oil out of business. So my district produces a lot of oil. That's how we get gasoline price back down.
I don't know. This is a question for me. And like I said, we don't have much time left, but I don't know how well you're going to make Illinois an abortion focused state the way Missouri is. But the way it is right now is as progressive as it can get. What's your plan? What's a realistic, workable plan?
Number one, we stop taxpayer-funded abortion immediately. Over 50,000 abortions per year. We stop that, and we make abortion unnecessary by working with churches, civic groups, and religious organizations. And I'll share those ideas later.
I love that because, as is the motto on this show, we support the woman and the baby. We cannot be a pro-life movement that just focuses on the baby and calls those women in a really difficult place names and ridicules them. That's the way we save babies, is through those women's. 2 heartbeats, folks, 2 heartbeats. Darren Bailey, such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us. Keep in touch with us. We are following your campaign as we are the rest of the candidates. And for anybody who is interested in more, BaileyForIllinois.com, BaileyForIllinois.com, at Darren Bailey IL on Twitter. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Stephen Moore, formerly of the state of Illinois, he moved out to Virginia. Explain that. He's going to talk to us a little bit about inflation, China, tariffs, and the like. So stick around. More Annie Frey Show right around the corner.
This is Judge Mike Carter, Republican candidate for state Senate in the new 10th District. Whether you're from Lincoln, Pike, Montgomery, Callaway, or St. Charles County, we all want to safeguard our freedom. We don't need Washington making personal decisions about health or education for our families or children. I believe in personal freedom and believe that our rights are enshrined in the United States Constitution and not at the whim of unelected bureaucrats. I'll put my knowledge and experience to work for you, protecting those rights, opposing tax hikes, keeping families safe by opposing those who want to defund the police, making small businesses and family farms a priority, and safeguarding our Second Amendment. I'm running to bring decision-making back where it belongs, with we the people. I hope you'll take the time to go to MikeCarter.com to learn more about what I want to do for you. I'm Mike Carter, and I hope to earn your vote to be your next Republican state senator, paid for by Team Mike Carter.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
You fix the car.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A pledge for justice. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Philadelphia police and prosecutors trying to unravel the shooting that left 3 dead and at least 11 injured Saturday night. District Attorney Larry Krasner.
Along with PPD, we want to make sure that those responsible are held accountable.
An officer who fired at a suspect also under investigation. And there were other deadly shootings in big and small cities across the U.S.
Overall, at least 69 people were shot and 17 killed over the weekend alone. Chattanooga, Tennessee, police there busy investigating investigating their own mass shooting that left 3 people dead, and a few others were actually struck by cars fleeing the scene. No arrests have been made in either case.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. The judge orders jury selection to continue for the gunman who killed 17 people at a Florida high school 4 years ago. The panel will decide whether Nicholas Cruz faces life in prison or execution. His public defenders tried to withdraw today because one of them has COVID. The judge rejecting that motion. Russia slapping sanctions on U.S. finance and energy officials while urging other countries to help stabilize the global economy. Russia's finance minister speaking to a group that includes Brazil, India, China, and South Africa as Western sanctions continue over the war in Ukraine. The Joint Chiefs Chairman, General Mark Milley, says the war undermines rules established after World War II.
Countries cannot attack other countries with their military forces in acts of aggression, unless it's an act of pure self-defense, which you're allowed to do, and it's a last resort. But that's not what's happened here in Ukraine.
He's in France, marking 78 years since the D-Day invasion that helped lead to the end of World War II. The Justice Department gets a green light to seize 2 jets owned by a Russian oligarch, including a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. A federal judge in New York signing a warrant for the planes owned by Roman Abramovich. Court records show the Boeing is in Dubai and the other plane, a Gulfstream, is in Russia. America is listening to Fox News.
Big news. Greta Van Susteren is back. She's the host of Newsmax's new show, The Record with Greta Van Susteren. Starting June 14th, Greta reports on the really big stories you need to know. She's smart, tough, and always fair. Get the latest info about her new show. Text the word Greta to 39747. Millions are making the switch to Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems and streaming platforms. Don't miss this. Text Greta to 39747 now. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. I want to speak to the dads who are being denied access to their kids, excluded from key parenting decisions, are contending with child support issues. In all of these cases, doing nothing is probably not a good strategy. The law has given you rights, but you have to assert them. If the challenge is the cost of an attorney, Cordell & Cordell offers a capped fee option. Give us a call.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon, about 79 degrees, and that's because of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Kind of a wet afternoon as far as the overall scope is concerned. Tonight, any fading showers get out of the picture early evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, 65. Tuesday and Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Nothing more than a spotty shower or thunder shower. Lots of dry time. 78 to 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
Spare me the bull about constitutional rights.
The gentleman
no, I will not yield, and I'm not going to yield for my entire 5 minutes, so don't ask again.
The Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute.
We, as a whole of government approach, have been working on this since the recall, which was in February.
Do something is not a serious policy, but the actual policies that he listed are extremely troubling.
97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside renovation is a great place, renovation and design, I should say, a great place to start the coming true of a dream. And when I say that, you look into your kitchen and you see that the counters are in the cabinets. They're what were there when the house was built. And you don't see what you've wanted. You see what's functional. And you've liked it, but you've built on this dream and you've saved. And now you're thinking, where do I go to make sure that this dream come true doesn't turn into a nightmare in the process? That's the key. You're going to invest a lot of money in this. It doesn't matter where you go. You do a kitchen renovation or a bathroom renovation or maybe an additional room to your house. It's going to cost you money, of course, and you've saved for it, you've planned for it, or Lakeside Renovation and Design has a 0% interest plan that is great. You need to ask them about that. When you go through this with Lakeside Renovation and Design, you can check their reviews. They are top notch. They are going to make this process an exhale, a breath of fresh air. And at the end result, your dream has come true. It's really that amazing. If you want to learn more about all the different projects they've done, see examples of their work, and learn more about them, you can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
Transform your home into the most beautiful home in the neighborhood with Banner Construction, St. Louis's preferred James Hardy and Pella expert. Right now, the safest place to invest is in your home. Add curb appeal and value with a fresh new look you'll be proud to own. Check us out on the website or call 314-569-1050 for a free in-home design consultation. That's bannerconstruction.com or 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. Again, 314-569-1050 or bannerconstruction.com.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman again with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 946-9999. We're locally and family owned, and we bought over 50 properties this year. A lot of times people are looking to sell their property as is, and maybe they've talked to another investor and didn't get a good offer, and we came in and made a better offer. Because of our economies of scale, we can usually pay more than all other investors in town and provide probably one of the strongest offers you'll get. Reach out to us today, KLAMEN Group.com or 314-946-9999.
The markets came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed and we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until late. They're certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, JerryKelly.com.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Don't buy plastic toys for your pet. Instead, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about. That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Because of the president's leadership, America is back to work. Wages are increasing. The labor market is strong. People have not been thrown out of their homes. We are not seeing the anemic and very painful economic recovery that we experienced in 2009, 10, 11, 12, and 13 after the last, economic slowdown. Yes, inflation's a problem. In no way do I want to minimize that. The Fed is independent. They are taking action, and you're already starting to see that. But fundamentally, what we have here is a robust economic recovery, and I think that's in large part due to the president's leadership.
Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, the only way that you can live in that amount of reality is if you get home from work and you dive into your Scrooge McDuck pile of gold doubloons. There is no possible way that you can see the world that we're living in right now in this country and go, high five, everybody, all around.
It blows my mind because she touts people aren't being thrown out of their homes. Like that's an economic win.
And let's also
that's the bare minimum.
Let's also talk about how she throws Barack Obama's economic recovery way under the bus. She's like, this didn't suck like it did when Obama tried to do it. It's not what she said, but let's be honest. It's what she said. I want to know what Stephen Moore heard when he heard that clip. Senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks, author of the book Godzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Things are looking up there for the Commerce Secretary, Stephen Moore.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon, guys. I think there is a kind of a dangerous delusion going on in the White House. I don't know if they're drinking the Kool-Aid or this is just trying to put a spin on things. Now, I have to say, it's a complicated economy right now because you do have a really good jobs market. The jobs market is really strong. There are There are jobs out there for people who want them. And my advice to people, by the way, is get a job. If you're going to get a job, get it now, because those jobs might not be available, come in the fall months. What we're seeing, though, is a collapse in business confidence. We're seeing a collapse in consumer confidence. There was just a poll on Fox News that showed that only 1 in 4 Americans or thereabouts think this is a good economy. Only 1 in 4.
1 in 4.
They're not really agreeing with Kamala Harris and the whole Biden team. What worries me most is that they're doing nothing to deal with the energy crisis, and they're doing nothing to deal with the inflation crisis, and those two things are tied together. I love I don't know if you played that clip earlier about Biden saying, "Well, I can't just flick a switch and the gas price is going to go down." Well, you know what, Annie, he did flick a switch when he became president. And he turned off the supply of our oil and gas, and we've gone steadily from $2.39 a gallon to $2.59, $2.89, $2.99, $3.09, $3.50, $3.89, $4.09. Now the national average price is $4 a gallon, and in California the average price is like $6.29 a gallon. So, do you think that happened by accident? And it happened long before. The invasion of Ukraine. Now, those are contributing factors, but that's not the real problem. So, I'm really nervous about where we're at, and I think it was Jamie Dimon, one of the top Wall Street guys, who said this economy feels like we're about to be hit with a hurricane. And it does feel like that. It feels like you're on the beach. I was saying on Fox News this morning, it's like being on the beach right before the tsunami is going to come in. And it's the calm before the storm.
Man, Stephen Moore with us right now, the senior economic contributor at Freedom Works, at Stephen Moore on Twitter. I'm really curious about what is, if we're not living in the moment in time where the hurricane has landed, what does it look like for average Americans when the tsunami hits the shore?
Well, right now what we have is declining paychecks because inflation, is running at about 8% and paychecks are rising by 5%. So do the math. That means people are losing 3% month after month after month after month. And that's why, again, they say the weirdest things. They say, Biden was saying, savings rate is so high. No, it's not. People are actually digging into their savings now because they can't afford all of the costs of, I think, did you see that now in many places, a dozen eggs, $12.99 for a dozen eggs?
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I talked to I spoke at an auto dealership, Auto Dealers Association meeting last week, and they all sort of said the same thing. Yeah, we can get your car, in 4 months, and if you want one now, you're going to have to pay $10,000 over the sticker price to get one.
Man,
that's inflation. It's killing people.
President Biden has considered or is planning on working with tariffs on China in order to combat inflation?
Isn't that unbelievable?
Explain to me what that all means. What's his thought process there?
Well, they're talking about, maybe reducing some of the tariffs on Chinese goods and services. And I'm like, the one place in the world we don't want to reduce tariffs on is China. Right? I mean, and I'm a free trade guy, but China is a villain. They're an enemy. They're Germany circa 1938. So why are we, reducing the tax that we impose on them? And then also, he's gone hand in hand to the Saudis, asking them to increase their oil output, when we could easily do that in Texas and Oklahoma and North Dakota and Alaska.
Cleaner.
And of course, it is so economically backwards that I think a lot of Americans are just confused. Even my Democratic friends can't quite explain the logic behind any of this. And then when you have Biden say, there's 3 things I'm going to do to solve the inflation problem. Number one, he wants price controls. Well, we had price controls in the 1970s, the last time we had inflation. And that didn't lower prices. What it did is lengthen lines. I remember getting in the station wagon with my parents when I was 12 years old, 6 o'clock in the morning on those frigid February mornings in Chicago, and we'd get 7th in line to get gasoline, to beat the crowd. I mean, so price controls only lead to supply issues. And then he said, oh, Build Back Better again. He hasn't dropped Build Back Better. Can you imagine how bad the inflation rate would be today, Annie, if we'd actually passed that $4 trillion atrocity?
No.
I mean, we'd be talking about 25% inflation. And then, of course, he says he wants to raise taxes. How are you going to lower prices if you increase taxes on businesses? Does that make any sense?
It doesn't. And it's the way this president continues to address all of these issues facing Americans is usually he just tells Americans to toughen up. One of the things I hear from people regularly on the other side, if they decide to, wage a small attack on me on Twitter or something, is that President Biden doesn't have anything to do with the price of gas. And I'm scrolling through Fox News here, and there's a headline: gas prices are a result of Biden's policies, self-inflicted wounds. Economist Steve Moore says. So tell it to us right here. You obviously said this on Fox News.
I didn't even see that. But I mean, it's infuriating, really, because and look, I have to admit to your audience, I am biased. I work for Donald Trump. I admire the man. I don't always admire, some of his ethics and some of the things he says, but I loved his policies. And I'm here to tell you, I honestly believe from the bottom of my heart, if Trump were president today, the economy would be absolutely booming. We'd have the economy that conversation he was just talking about. That's what we would have, but we don't have that. We have one that's crumbling. It's almost like, when you've got, the water is rising, it's in the basement and then it hits the first floor. The fighting gets higher and higher, and you're in the attic saying, oh, everything's just fine.
It's just, it's very difficult for average Americans. I repeat this regularly because it's so important that people in our country right now do not need to turn on the news to know that things are bad. They don't need any pundits out there like you who is admitting your relationship with President Trump to say Trump was better. They know the way it was, and they know the way it is.
And I'll tell you one other thing that I'm going to run, Annie. It's a busy day, obviously, but when I do your show and other shows, radio shows, people will call me or email me or text me and they'll say, Steve Moore, why do you keep saying inflation is 8%? And I said, well, that's the official number. They say my inflation isn't 8%. They say, look, my price of my food is going up 25%. My gas price is up 70%. My utility bills are up 40%. My transportations are up 25%. All this stuff. They say my inflation isn't 8%. It's 20%. And I'm thinking a lot about that because I think for average families, that's true. The things they have to buy, the essentials that you have to buy every, milk, eggs, gasoline, you have to pay your utility, you have to pay your rent. Those things aren't up 8%. They're up 15 to 20%.
Yeah. And you're telling me that we're standing on the shore waiting for the tsunami to hit. Ooh, it hurts.
You're saying it's here already.
I am. Stephen Moore, we're going to let you go. Get back to work. Thank you so much for your time today. Always appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
You as well. Bye-bye. Senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks, his book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. I think that this is a must-read book because for a lot of people who may have had their eyes or their gaze turned towards politics, because like I said, if you go to the pump and gas is it's $4.79 downtown. I don't know if do you come in the same way I come in?
Yeah, I come in the same way.
You come on the stand span?
Mm-hmm.
That gas station is $4.79.
Yeah.
I was filling up half a tank at $4.49 here.
Yeah.
And because previously I would just fill it up over here because in Illinois it's astronomically harder. But at that gas station, it's $4.79. So it's like every time I hold off on filling up in Missouri, I just got to fill it up now because I don't know, by the time I go home tonight, it might be $4.89.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm thinking about not moving, but driving farther out of downtown just to get gas to see if I can't find
especially you've got a big truck. How big is your gas tank?
I don't know, a lot.
Well, how low do you let it go?
I usually fill at a quarter of a tank. And when I say fill, I run it until the credit card company says stop.
That's the problem with a big tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
So I can only do 75.
Really? So we're going to take a break here. If you didn't hear the first hour of the show and you're interested and you've seen the attack ads against Darren Bailey, we had Darren Bailey in studio for 2 segments and I asked him questions about things that have been attacked to him. I've asked him about policies. People were commenting on the live chat saying, Annie, it's obvious who you've endorsed. I have not endorsed anybody in this process. I know that there are candidates who would like me to endorse them. Mm-hmm. The truth is, I am playing my role in this governor primary here to give you as much information as I possibly can about these candidates. And if Darren Bailey is in here and he's saying things that I obviously like, that's because the alternative right now, J.B. Pritzker, is one of the biggest disasters in the United States of America, who has the power and authority of the governor's office. And all of the candidates in the Illinois Republican primary, light years better than J.B. Pritzker. It's science, folks. I read about it in a book that I wrote to myself. It's just the way it is. So please invest your time in getting to know all of these candidates. We had Richard Irvin on last week. We've had Gary Sullivan on multiple times, Paul Schimpf on multiple times. We've had, who am I forgetting? We had Max Solomon on. I'm forgetting somebody else. I'm going to go with Bailey. Rabine. Gary Rabine was on with us.
Yep.
We're interviewing them all. And if you have questions for these folks or feedback, please send it to the Annie Frey Show Facebook message page and go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube channel live chat. Do you support any kind of gun control? We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Decision 2022 is happening. Are you ready to decide? The primary candidates are here because they want to talk to you. Decision 2022. Coverage sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
One of the things about Dr. Jody at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics is the fact that she is a lifelong earner and regularly participates in continuing education that makes sure that she delivers to you the most cutting edge skills for her patients. She cares about knowing the best ways and the newest ways to deliver to you the orthodontic care that you need. And this is important because with advancement, they can do things better. They can do things faster. They can do things with more pain-free endeavors. If your orthodontic care requires a little bit of give on your part, I trust Hensher Johnson Orthodontics with my most precious possession in my life, and that is my kiddos. My oldest two went to Hensher Johnson Orthodontics to have their orthodontic care looked at. My son is going to need some help, and my daughter not yet. So they said, Annie, you're good here. You don't need to do anything with Jensen yet. But my son is going to have his teeth straightened, and it's going to be at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics. I hope for your orthodontic care, you will give them a try. Go meet them. Go see their office. You will be as impressed as my husband was and as I was. Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, 618-400-0900. You can find them online right now at hensherjohnsonortho.com.
Here's what happened in Richard Irvin's Aurora in the summer of 2020.
Police say 3 of the vehicles were set on fire and destroyed. Shots were fired at police twice. People hurled bricks, glass, and rocks at officers. Police blame protesters for at least 2 fires in the city.
This is what Richard Irvin later said about the rioting and looting and violence in his town.
You know, my downtown just on fire, people running around destroying things. You know, I was conflicted. In one sense, I'm the mayor, and I'm saying this can't happen in my city. On the other hand, I recognize that unless there's some type of disruption in what we want here in our country, things won't change.
Richard Irvin calls violence and looting a legitimate disruption. This is what happens when you put someone who calls himself a strong and passionate supporter of Black Lives Matter in charge. Don't let Richard Irvin let Illinois burn like he did Aurora. Join Illinois conservatives in voting no to violence and lawlessness by voting no on Richard Irvin. Paid for by people who play with the rules pack.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Donate your car to Goodwill and get 4 free tickets to Six Flags. Ride the greats like the Screaming Eagle or hang out at Hurricane Harbor. Donating a car to Goodwill is easy. Towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If your home needs an upgrade, don't get frustrated. Get solutions. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design to transform your space into the home of your dreams. Our custom carpentry work has been wowing homeowners for over 20 years. Whether you want a deck or porch, a gorgeous sunroom, a remodeled basement, or more, our award-winning team does it all with in-house skilled carpenters. We even stand behind our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
It's time for an $89 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
And everybody, tries to put my Sloopy down.
This song reminds me of my childhood summer. Like I can close my eyes and I can watch my summer experience as like an 8-year-old in a lake with my parents' softball teams. Oh, just don't stop playing the music. It's just so great.
Your parents' softball. So you grew up with your parents' softball teams as well?
Husband, like the dads played on a team, and it wasn't like 100%, but there was a men's softball team and a women's softball team. This is back when they had like a women's fast pitch summer softball.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So my mom played slow pitch.
No, this was not slow pitch, and they would play one night a week each, and then we would, as kids, just be completely on our own for about an hour and a half each of those summer nights, running around doing the craziest things. And then there'd be a summer party and everybody would get together at one of my parents' friends who had a lake in their backyard, and we'd fish in it and we'd just soak it in. Those were the days.
Man, I am amazed. We grew up almost identically.
Yeah. It's just
same thing.
It was sheer happiness. You'd get a sunburn, you'd fall asleep after you ate on a couch somewhere for 30 minutes, and then you'd rally and you'd go again. Oh man. All right. That was a good moment. Thanks. Good pick. I went to commend, I almost said condemn. That was the wrong word. I went to commend Hannah, who has taken charge of the Annie Frey Show Instagram account, which has existed for some time, but let's be honest, I didn't do anything with it. You know why? Because I don't really understand Instagram. And I'm saturated in so many different social media. I'm on Twitter a lot. I do a lot of work with Twitter to find content and whatever at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. The Facebook page has been a labor of love of mine for a long time. The Instagram account, it's like, I know we should be there, but I can't learn it, and I can't I am at the point where I maxed out. I'd have to take away from over here to start doing more over here. There's not really, I have no more minutes in the day to add. So Hannah is taking over, and she's a freaking whiz when it comes to Instagram, which is awesome. And so she's putting up a picture that Darren Bailey and I took in studio, along with the link that you can go back and listen to the interview that we just had on our Instagram account. You got to go to the Annie Frey Show on Instagram, go follow it, and then make her phone blow up. Because it's funny when I mention that and people go, she's like surprised that people like, well, Hannah, people are listening. Yeah. So you got to prove it to her by going to, what do? You follow the Instagram account. You don't like it.
Yeah.
You follow it.
You follow it.
You like the Facebook. You follow the YouTube. Or no. You follow Twitter and Instagram, and you subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yep.
The YouTube poll today is, do you support any increased gun control measures? Have you thought about this question?
Have I thought about this?
Is there?
Yeah, none.
That your
Zero.
answer is just a no.
Yeah. No, I'm actually like, let's roll some of these back.
Yeah, I figured. So I'm curious for folks who, this is another thing that Hannah is doing. She is a busy bee back there. Which, by the way, bees are now fish. We can talk about that in a little bit later. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just put a pin in that, and we'll circle back. She's a busy fish out there, is what I meant to say. And she is monitoring our Annie Frey YouTube channel, where we put a daily poll up when we're not in trouble with YouTube. And today's is, do you support any increased gun control measures? Yes or no. It's a simple yes or no. Like, even if it's just a minor one, that is one. Vote yes. And please give us a comment on the live chat as to why you voted the way you did. I suspect that there is going to be a lot of no responses to this, but I also think there are going to be people who are going to say yes, and then their comment is going to be like a minimal level of gun control. And then we have people who listen to us who are way not on our side of the aisle. Let us know what you think. I'm happy to hear what you say too.
Yeah.
Did you see that bees are fish?
I saw that you tweeted the article out, and I'm like, I don't have enough time in my day to read this article.
Who does? So this is kind of it's a bizarre story, and this really is a testament, and that's the most positive spin I could put on it, on the brains of lawyers. This is a California court, of course, that ruled that in California, the California court rules that a bumblebee is a fish under environmental law. So I'm going to read, this is a Fox News article from this weekend. A bumblebee is a fish under California law. This is weird. What is happening? What am I doing here?
I don't know.
There's an ad. A bumblebee is a fish according to California law. Take this article and send it back 15 years.
Oh, if we only could.
I think about, 15 years ago, let's see. My grandpa died in 2004, so that's 18 years ago. So let's send it back 20 years ago. Like, I want to show my grandpa. I want to show my World War II Army veteran grandpa this.
I can already see how my grandpa would react. And it would be completely nonverbal, so it's no good for the radio, but I could just see it in my mind's eye.
And thus, the bumblebee should be protected by the state's endangered species ordinances. This is the ruse or so here. In the case Almond Alliance of California versus the Fish and Game Commission, the California State Appellate Court of the 3rd District said the issue presented here is whether the bumblebee, a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of a fish. You'd think that the conversation would have ended there. Oh, but wait, there's more. According to the judges, the bumblebee is classified as a fish, as a liberal interpretation of the word fish. Oh, you don't freaking say.
Oh my gosh.
Breaking news, everybody. As well as the state's own legislative history, including non-aquatic life. The judges explained that, quote, although the term fish is colloquially and commonly understood to refer to aquatic species, the law, as it is written, makes the legal, quote, definition of fish not so limited, the court documents show. The court explained the Endangered Species Act has given classification authority to the Fish and Game Commission to determine what is and what is not endangered species. And under the law, the commission is solely responsible for establishing, quote, a list of endangered species and a list of threatened species. The court also found the commission's authority, quote, was not limited to listing only aquatic invertebrates. The state's own legislative history also supports this, quote, liberal interpretation to classify a non-aquatic bumblebee as opposed to an aquatic bumblebee. Insert there as a fish. As under state law, quote, the commission may list any invertebrate as an endangered or threatened species.
But hold on.
You're going to ask me to explain this.
Are they suggesting that fish are invertebrates?
No. Well, yes. Before 1969, hold on. Before 1969, the law defined fish as, this is their definition of fish, quote, wild fish, mollusks, or crustaceans, including, this is what made me mad, including any part, spawn, or ova.
Oh.
Thereof.
Oh.
You see why I'm mad there?
Yes.
That same year, the legislature amended a section that defined fish to add invertebrates and amphibia. So this is an instance where they need to do They need to do something to protect bees.
Mm-hmm.
Then protect the bees.
Right. This is lazy.
This is stupid.
But this isn't even lazy. This is like overcomplicating something. Holy cow. Fish is a bee. A bee is a fish. No.
A fish is not necessarily a bee.
Oh my gosh.
But a bee is necessarily a fish. Here's the dictionary definition of ovum. A mature female reproductive cell, especially of a human or other animal, which can divide to give rise to an embryo, usually only after fertilization by a male cell. Just don't even want to go there. Is it implied? The definition of a fish, wild fish, mollusks, or crustaceans, including any part, spawn, or ova thereof. We are willing to define an ova. Or to define ova, I should say. We are willing to define ova as a fish, but not a fetus as a baby. We're so stupid. What are we doing? This is Gilbert Gottfried. This is what he's on.
No, there's not enough gravel in your voice.
We're out here saying that the definition of fish, which happens to include bees, includes ova, which, according to dictionary.com, is a mature female reproductive cell, especially of a human or other animal, which can divide to give rise to an embryo, usually only after fertilization by a male cell. An ova isn't even fertilized yet, but we're classifying it as a fish. In this instance, it is the definition. But in humans, a baby with a heartbeat and fingernails, not fingers, fingernails and toenails and reactions and movements and smiles. We can't define that as a human being because, of course, if we define it as a human being, we wouldn't want to rid ourselves of it. I bet you didn't see me going into abortion with this topic. But here we are. I remember where I was in the car when I was reading this story to my husband because I'm like, oh my gosh, get this. And I was reading it just kind of like I was reading it to you right here. And I got to that paragraph and I had a fit.
I wish I was a fish on the wall.
A fish on the wall. Yeah. It was ridiculous. I mean, this type of stuff is maddening. And it's not like they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're so gleefully willing to do it because they can. It's that simple. They just can. It's sad. It's really sad. I have a really special treat for you folks. If you're wondering where Ryan Wiggins is, that's kind of a hard sentence to say. Say it.
Wondering where Ryan Wiggins is?
You did pretty good.
Thank you.
It's almost like you're a professional now. If you're wondering where Wiggins is, he is on vacation this week. So I took it upon myself. I'm going to text him here in a minute to let him know that this is happening. But we are going to have guest hosts for Wiggins America this week.
I love it.
And at 2:00, we're going to do them at 2:00. And it's going to be Trisha today.
It's going to be great.
So I don't know what she's going to talk about. I said, it's Wiggins America. Just do what you think happens in Wiggins America. So it'll be fun to see what kind of interpretations we get.
I love it.
Yeah.
I got to do a Wiggins America.
Huh? Yeah, you did. And you did a really great job. You even like danced like he dances on goofy times. So you'll have to make sure you tune into the Annie Frey YouTube channel today. We are back and better than ever, dare I say. And we have a YouTube live chat poll. So this is how it works. Just go onto YouTube, type in Annie Frey, Frey. You'll see our channel there and you'll see that we're live. Click on that. And on the chat that exists, if you're on your mobile app, just make sure you click the live chat button. If you're on your desktop, the live chat is right next to the video. You'll see the poll that is there and you can vote yes or no. If you choose to add a comment, we would love to have it. Hannah is looking for your comments and we're going to cover those at 2:45. Today's poll is, do you support any increased gun control measures? We've heard a hard no from Brad so far, but I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and see how this poll shakes out. We want to push as many people to that poll as we possibly can and get a good sample size, so make sure you weigh in. We're going to take a quick break. More Annie Frey show in just a minute, a little more Sloopy before we go to break. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Come on, Sloopy. Come on, come on. Oh, come on, Sloopy. Come on, come on. Oh, come on, Sloopy. Come on, come on. Oh, come on, Sloopy. Come on, come on. Well, it feels so good.
The Mark Reardon Show.
They're now putting out pickle-flavored Mountain Dew. It's one of the several new flavors. It could be more popular than apple cinnamon, elderberry, and s'mores. No one wants any of that.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Ew, that sounds terrible. What are they doing on the Mark Cox Show? Sue, that's some terrible Sue's news.
She said no one wants any of that.
No, oh man. Ugh. Anyway, that's not why I'm here. Closet Factory is my go-to for customized storage solutions for my house. And we have used them in, 4 different rooms in our home. And we were very grateful to have the opportunity to partner with them in a way that just really, in a domino effect, made our lives easier to live in our homes. If you have a storage solution concern in your home or in your residence, in a place that you maybe volunteer at or a church that you go to, I want you to consider a free consultation from the folks at the Closet Factory. They're kind people. It is a locally owned business here in St. Louis, and they are the go-to name when it comes to customized storage solutions. Yes, they're called the Closet Factory, but they do much more than closets. If you're looking for a storage solution for your garage, if you're looking for a storage solution for your basement, the entertainment area, maybe your storage room where you want to make sure that you're maximizing the space that you have there, because right now it's just kind of a mess and not working for you, you give them a call at 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300. They're online at closetfactory.com.
Joe Biden's inflation is causing the cost of gas and groceries to skyrocket. Nancy Pelosi and Democrats in Congress have a radical agenda to defund our police, making our families less safe. How do these career politicians keep getting away with this? I'm Regan Deering. I'm a mom and small business owner, and I'm a fighter, not a career politician. I just can't stand on the sidelines while the Democrats' failed policies continue to devastate Central Illinois. In Congress, I'll stop Biden's inflation, which will allow families to keep more of what they earn. I'll fight to secure the border and fix our broken immigration system, and fully fund our police, working hand in hand with law enforcement to keep our families safe and secure. Join me at ReganForCongress.com, and together we will clean up the mess in Washington. I'm Regan Deering, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message. Paid for by Regan for Congress.
Attention business owners with more than 5 employees that were impacted by COVID. You may be entitled to up to $26,000 per employee through the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program, even if you already receive government PPP or ERC benefits. Call for a free consultation, 800-222-9000. That's 800-222-9000 to see if you qualify for a cash payment. No recovery, no fee. Call 800-222-9000, 800-222-9000, or visit COVIDTaxMoney.com.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely.
Paid for by Chaikin Analytics. Mark Chaikin is someone you're supposed to hate. He spent 50 years on Wall Street helping to create the entire stock rating system. He's met everyone from Jim Cramer to Martha Stewart. And today, he's sharing an urgent warning to tell anyone who will listen. A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive and surprising new transition could determine the next group of millionaires while leaving 99% of the public even worse off than before, says Chaikin. If you want to be on the right side of the huge new shift that he predicts is coming to the market, you absolutely must consider buying one particular type of investment now, before it's too late, he says. To give you the full story, he posted the biggest prediction of his 50-year career online at stockmarketwarning.com/radio, along with the name and ticker symbol of the number one investment to buy right now. Go to stockmarketwarning.com/radio to learn more, free of charge. stockmarketwarning.com/radio.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for warmer weather with a cooling system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
We get a little restless from the search and get a little worn down in between. Like a bull chasing the matadors, a man left to his own schemes. Everybody needs someone beside him, shining like a lighthouse from the sea.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I am excited to have a new guest host on at 2 o'clock for Wiggins America. Not for my show, but for Wiggins' segment, because he's on vacation. And today's featured guest host of Wiggins America, it's like a coup of sorts.
Yeah, I love it.
Is Trisha.
So the Trisha Militia took over Wiggins America.
Yeah, who didn't see that coming? I totally.
It's like it was right there in the name.
It's just like,
how could we have missed it?
All you have to do is put some candy in the corner over here, and then he goes to get it, and then you take the throne.
Yeah.
Like a trail of gummy bears out the door. Oh, look at these. Eating them one at a time.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Oh, man. So you did a thing this weekend a lot of people are talking about. That sounds cooler than I thought it was.
It is super cool.
That's your sound.
That's my sound. I went, there was 57,000 people there and not enough concession stands. So I went to try to find water for my wife. And she's not a huge NASCAR fan, but she likes to go do stuff that I like to go do.
She likes you.
Right.
She doesn't like NASCAR. She likes you.
She likes me. So
this, children, is called marriage.
By proxy, she likes NASCAR because she likes to go spend time with me and we like to do stuff that we like to do together. So I went out and I was like, I'm going to get her water and stuff like that. And the lines were really long. So she messages me and she's like, just come on back and watch the race and I'll go get water. So I'm walking back along the bottom of the grandstands there. And the cars just restarted. And I was like, oh, they're restarting. I have to turn around and film this. So I was literally, I don't know, 10 foot away from them as they were blasting by at 170 miles an hour.
I didn't realize they went that fast.
Yeah. So I was texting with my pastor who was at home watching it. He's a huge NASCAR. If I'm a big NASCAR fan, he is a huge NASCAR fan. So he was like sending me back telemetry data and stuff like that.
Are you a bigger Cardinals fan or NASCAR fan?
Cardinals fan.
Okay. Just
I am
trying to
I am
gauge.
a race fan though.
Yeah.
Don't
Midgets.
midgets, sprint cars,
Midget.
Indy cars.
Midgets.
You just like midgets saying the word midget.
I like midgets too.
I'm going to take you to a race.
Are you?
You get dirt in your hair and it's going to be great.
I don't mind dirt in my hair, but it's got to be for a good cause.
Oh, it'll be a good cause. And they'll be like, oh, that's what Brad's
what are they
talking
called?
about.
Midget box cars?
Nope, just called a midget.
The car is a midget.
Yep.
And what is it?
Open wheel, 4-cylinder engine, roll cage, and a driver.
Roll cage.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they roll?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have you ever rolled?
Not in a race car.
In a what?
I rolled in a go-kart that I was driving around my parents' property.
I rolled in like a 1996 Ford Aerostar on 55 going to Chicago once.
I've been behind several cars that
was
have rolled.
not good.
No.
So you were there, and I mean, in full disclosure, I know nothing about racing. I'm not mad at racing. I love the passion that people have for racing. And when I saw a lot of the stuff coming that I saw on my Facebook page from people who I knew who went there or on Twitter, I thought, wow, this is really cool. But what I really thought was cool was that it was St. Louis.
Yes.
So tell me your experience of being there as somebody like myself who knows nothing about the race industry. Zero. Okay. What is it? You know, when the PGA was it the PGA Tour came? I know enough about golf to know how big of a deal that was for St. Louis. How big of a deal was this for St. Louis?
So this was the first what is it? The Cup Series race in St. Louis in history. So they've never been here before.
Could we accommodate them before? I mean, what the racetrack has done.
Well, the racetrack has had to make a lot of, like, when they originally built the racetrack, there wasn't a tunnel underneath. To have the Cup Series cars here, you have to have a tunnel, because what they don't want to do is have the race stop while people, like if there's a bad accident and they need to ambulance somebody out or something like that, they don't want to have to stop the race. So they have to have a tunnel. So they had to build a tunnel. They had to build more seating because there was 57,000 people there. So they had to be able to seat all of those people. They have to build parking. So I went to the IndyCar race in August of last year. Between then and now, they've built more parking. They put ramps that go over the roadway that you pull in so that you can walk over it. They didn't have that for IndyCar. You just kind of waited for cars to get through and then you walked across. So they did a lot of, I guess you would call it racetrack infrastructure. They've also resurfaced the track and all that other fun stuff to make it so that IndyCar could come in and, you know, put on a show.
So they made a major investment.
Oh, yes.
And allowed this to become a possibility, and St. Louis has benefited from it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was, like, whenever I left, the tracks off of 203 down by the big landfill down there. Whenever I left, I would usually turn right and go on to 70 or 5570 and take that to 255 and then back to 64 to get home. I couldn't do that whenever I left the track. I had to turn left, and I was blown away because I'd only saw the other side of how much parking and how many stands and all of these things that were set up. I mean, I'm sure that there were hotel rooms that you couldn't get, that they were sold out. There's all sorts of things that
Chris on YouTube said, didn't the track melt or something last time NASCAR was here? Do you know about that?
No, the track did not melt.
Okay.
So they
spelling myths.
They had I do remember the very first year that they had it, because my dad was super interested in this, because my dad actually helped pave the track on the original surface.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've got a paperweight at home that's made out of a core sample of the asphalt that they used. It's really cool. But what happened was the pavement broke down, but that was the very first year. And it was like July and 110 degrees.
It's really bad.
And it wasn't
circumstances.
It was the Busch Series cars at the time, so it's like their AAA affiliate.
Okay.
So if the Cup Series cars are the Cardinals,
yeah,
the Busch cars are the Redbirds.
Okay.
The
See, I
Redbirds.
can speak that language.
Yeah. So put the cookies on the bottom shelf, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So, but yeah, the track came apart a little bit when they were happening, but the Indy cars didn't have any problem on the same surface earlier in the year when it wasn't as hot.
Packed house.
It was hard to get in. I mean, Illinois Department of Transportation, for all my complaints about them, they did a wonderful job of getting people into that, but 57,000 people down to a 2-lane road.
57,000 people.
57,000 people.
That's bigger than Busch Stadium, folks.
And there were campers and tailgaters and just all sorts of stuff. There are people that make a week out of going to a NASCAR race.
So people always say, like, for hockey, if you don't really love hockey, you don't judge hockey until you see a hockey game live.
Right.
Is and I know tons of people who don't like any sports who go to a hockey game and can't
Mhm.
wait to go to their next one.
Mm-hmm.
Is the race vibe in the industry, like once you get in it, does it suck people in and they go, I get this now?
I think so. And like, here's the other thing too that I don't know if people really realize is, I don't know, for like some people, they don't realize that they like big, powerful race cars and the thundering sounds that they make and just all the feeling with, like when they go by the bleachers shake, right? It's not just,
Yeah.
boom. It's
Tangible.
yeah.
I was driving back and forth a million places this weekend, and one of the while we were driving on the east side of the river, we saw 2 jets flying around.
Mhm.
Did they do a flyover?
They did, and it was the B-1 bombers. So
Was
they're
it 2 of them?
2 of them, hypersonic with the swept wings.
Yes.
Or
We're
supersonic.
like, we opened the sunroof on the van and we rolled the windows down and we're like, this is cool. And then the kids are like, are we under attack? And I'm like, no.
Those are the good guys.
And then I go to Jared and go, are we under attack?
Those
He's
are the
like,
good guys.
he just looks at me and shakes his head like, no. I actually said to him, I go, because we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We hadn't put 2 and 2 together yet. I go, is there even 1% of you that's concerned about those jets flying over like this right now? And he goes, no.
Mm-mm.
And I go, okay. But they were sweet looking.
Oh, it was awesome. I've never
I-
seen those fly in person.
I love a flyover, which is kind of the same thing as a race car going by. I mean, when you feel
Just
it
on
in
the
your
ground.
bones and you're like, "Woo," that's just really amazing.
Yes.
Which I will use this as an opportunity to tell you to go see Top Gun Maverick in the
IMAX.
big theater with the chairs that rumble and all that stuff. Oh my gosh. I could go back and see it again.
I could too.
And it's expensive. I could go back and see it again. And honestly, I'll tell you this too. When we left, my husband said to me, I think we could take our older 2 kids to this movie. I don't know that my younger, well, obviously not Molly, but we said we could take.
I think it'd
Charlie
be
and Jensen.
appropriate.
Yeah, that they would be able to handle it. Go see it. Weekends America with Trisha. When we come back, don't go away.
Attention. Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free, as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit testkitforfree.com to register now from the comfort of your own home. That's testkitforfree.com to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to testkitforfree.com today. Paid for by T Euro Health.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I'm a martial artist, a pilot, mountain biker, hiker. The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. I wear them all the time. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
This is Mark Cox for my trusted friend and realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the agent I've been recommending for years now. Take my recommendation and call her, because if you're planning to sell your home in this crazy seller's market, you don't want to leave a single dollar on the table. You're going to love working with Gloria, and here's why. She'll guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. Her secret, well, she already has the buyers. Thousands of them looking for homes in your price range in your neighborhood. Lawrence and Shelby sold their St. Louis home in just 3 days at $17,000 over asking price with multiple offers. That's when their previous agent had produced 0 results. They chose Gloria. You can too. Call her today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. 6888 or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Taking aim at gun violence. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. New York Governor Kathy Hochul signing a series of bills following multiple mass shootings.
Governor Hochul says elsewhere it seems shots are fired and flags go to half staff.
And nothing ever changes. Except here in New York.
She signed 10 bills weeks after 10 Black Americans were killed in a supermarket in her hometown of Buffalo. The most significant will strengthen red flag laws.
To keep guns away from dangerous people. And we're raising the age of semi-automatic weapons so no 18-year-old can walk in on their birthday and walk out with an AR-15.
Other laws imprint bullets to match them with guns and forbid civilians from buying body armor.
Fox's Gernal Scott. In Congress, some Republicans urge more of a focus on school security than guns, but bipartisan talks continue in the U.S. Senate. Investigators in Wisconsin say a man accused of murdering a former judge had a high-profile hit list.
Retired Juneau County, Wisconsin judge 68-year-old John Romer was shot and killed Friday inside his home, police say, by 56-year-old Douglas Udy, a career criminal who Romer had previously sentenced to prison time.
The individual who's the suspect appears to have had other targets as well.
Wisconsin Attorney General Democrat Josh Call saying Udy allegedly had a hit list in his car, targeting both Democrats and Republicans, including Wisconsin and Michigan's governors and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Udy was hospitalized after being found in the judge's basement with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A cabinet minister shot to death in his office in the Dominican Republic. The Environment and Natural Resources Ministry confirming his death in a brief statement. Local reports of several others shot as well. America is listening to Fox News.
Big news. Greta Van Susteren is back. She's the host of Newsmax's new show, The Record with Greta Van Susteren. Starting June 14th, Greta reports on the really big stories you need to know. She's smart, tough, and always fair. Get the latest info about her new show. Text the word Greta to 39747. Millions are making the switch to Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems and streaming platforms. Don't miss this. Text Greta to 39747 now. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature this afternoon, about 79 degrees, and that's because of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Kind of a wet afternoon as far as the overall scope is concerned. Tonight, any fading showers get out of the picture early evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, 65. Tuesday and Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Nothing more than a spotty shower or thunder shower. Lots of dry time. 78 to 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case.
Michael Sussman there gloating a little bit, I guess you could say, because he was found not guilty of the same thing that they found General Flynn guilty of.
Weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m.
The network, several of them jumped on this because they could say it was a stinging defeat for John Durham. Well, who's John Durham?
They haven't covered it at all.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and if you're looking to get the exterior of your home or business repainted, CertaPro's expert painters can help. They focus on the power of timeliness, the power of inspiration, the power of doing it right, the power of localness, the power of minimal disruption. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated and can help make your home or business look amazing. Get your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. I've hired CertaPro for more than a decade because the work is amazing. For your home or business and the power of pro, CertaPro painters.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments and get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
Hi, I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew, and we are proud to be a family business. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a life savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably for the rest of our lives?
First, we set up a strategy to protect your retirement nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan to generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams.
Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review, and you'll get a copy of our second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. This book covers everything we teach in our live educational events. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Adam, man, your aunt parties are the best. I mean, you always find the best kitchens with all the crumbs. That is why you always have a million aunts at your parties.
Thanks, man. I love finding these homes to do this at.
Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Nature Valley has helped restore access to 10,000 miles of national park trails and counting because everyone deserves to experience what's out there. Head over to your local park to see for yourself. Nature Valley, life happens out there.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com. Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind with the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, welcome back. Happy Monday. You are listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Maybe on the Odyssey app, if you're not listening to us on the Odyssey app and you are going to change places and maybe not in your car anymore, listening to us on the radio, you can listen to us anywhere on the Odyssey app. Just download it. Favorite 97.1 FM Talk, and Annie Frey Show is there noon to 3. You can even rewind it if you didn't hear the whole show, like at 12:25 when we started interviewing Darren Bailey in studio. A great couple of segments with him. The conversation was good. Got to ask him about some of the attacks that have been made towards him and get answers to those questions in his words, not mine or somebody else's that have been printed. So I'd encourage you to go rewind that to 12:25. But now it is time for a very special edition of Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Wiggins America today, hosted by the Trisha Militia.
Hey!
Back in studio with us.
Hi, guys.
To take it over. And maybe our poll at the end of the week will be who did Wiggins America best, and maybe Ryan Wiggins will be one of the options.
I love that idea. I think that's great. I actually tweeted out Ryan's gonna have some big shoes to fill because I heard you previewing guest hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we could raise the bar high for Ryan when he comes back.
Yeah, I have some good ideas in my head of people who might be willing to do this segment. So I'm glad that you kicked it off.
I look forward to it. I hope it's not terrible, but
well, you do know the standards.
You said it. All right. So, how did mask mandates affect COVID death rates? So, this is a state-by-state analysis courtesy of an Odyssey investigation, which is apparently a thing now.
Huh.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out if masks made a difference.
Yes. Did they matter in terms of death rates? So, like, one of the lingering questions swirls around the value of wearing a mask. Should healthy people be wearing masks? So, still, obviously, this has been very divisive. Some people think it's a health mandate. Other people see it as political overreach. So who's right about that?
We are.
Yeah.
Done.
Technically, yes. A divide in the data between the length of mask mandates per state and the number of people who died from COVID shows little connection between the two. Basically, longer mask mandates did not correlate with fewer deaths per capita. I know. And this is on the heels of St. Louis businesses bringing back face mask mandates as COVID cases surge.
I saw that.
That's the St. Louis Arch and
Schnucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're bringing them back.
So are those decisions being made by those individual entities? Nobody's telling them that they have to. They're doing it within their own.
I would think so, but does the Arch get any kind of public funding?
Well, the Arch isn't it like a federal monument?
Mm-hmm.
So I think theirs was linked to the CDC's description of St. Louis as a high transmission area.
But is it like the CDC says that it's a high transmission area and then the Arch gets to decide to react to that and make the decision?
See, that I'm not sure about because it's been so gray areas.
I am not opposed to any business implementing a mask requirement. Because after you do that, if you're putting it on me as a consumer, then I have a choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have that choice to make. If it's a city government or a state government or a federal government saying, this is how you will live your life, you can pound sand. So that's how I feel about that.
Well, and apparently it doesn't really matter either way, at least as far as death rates go. Vaccination rates are another thing. Those seem to be helpful, which nobody questioned the efficacy of them. Everybody just said
that's not true, but some
people did. But it was more of a don't tell me what to do as opposed to
if you want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine.
Work.
If you don't want to get a vaccine, don't get a vaccine. If you have chosen to get a vaccine or chosen not to get a vaccine, don't tell me. I don't care.
Yeah, it's none of your damn business.
Yes, exactly. Man, you're taking Wiggins America to a whole new level. We got banned on YouTube for Trisha's potty mouth while Wiggins America was
none
out.
of your darn business.
That won't get you kicked off of YouTube.
No. Yeah, you can say that all you want.
I did notice in this, this is just a little side note in this Odyssey investigation. In 2021, the FAA recorded nearly 6,000 reports of unruly passengers on airplanes, with more than 70% involving mask-related incidents. Wow. Like, that's quite a few people that are losing their cool on airplanes.
How many people do you know in your personal lives, no names named, were hardcore COVID restrictions, like lived by the book of the CDC? Loved Lord Fauci in the process, and then they got COVID and it wasn't that big of a deal, and then they go back to being like super crazy about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know these people.
Mm-hmm.
I am sad for those people, and I'm okay with being like, if this is the way you want to live your life, knock yourself out.
I also know those people, and also when you just said Lord Fauci, I thought about Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that already?
No. But I
could see it as little,
I knew,
you could just see it in my face.
Like Shrek.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's almost like predictive.
Never in my life have I wished to be able to do a Fauci impression and just start delivering Farquaad lines.
Yeah. I'm going to go watch that movie again with a whole different frame of mind.
It's good. They're good. I watched them not too long ago. Yeah. So basically, wear your mask. Don't wear your mask. It doesn't actually matter.
Freedom.
Yeah. 971talk.com. There is an article up there with this information on there.
Perfect.
If you're interested.
Yeah. I'm going to check out the specific statistics on it because it's we've lost so much of our life due to these types of regulations. And I go back to the young generation. If you look at the different segments of our youth, so my kindergartner, now first grader, she will be very quick to remind you that she's a first grader now, really hadn't had a non-masked school experience that she had reference to until this school year, in the middle of the school year when the masks came off.
Which is crazy.
Sad.
Yeah, it is. There are kids that don't remember a pre-COVID, and you have a child that doesn't remember a pre-COVID time, basically.
My fourth grader, now fifth grader, not quite the same thing, but I could tell that because she is a rule follower. If the rule is to wear a mask, she will wear her mask. And if I'm sitting there having a private conversation with her, she might tell me she hates the mask, which she did. But if the rules say you wear a mask, you wear a mask. She's not interested in trying to, push the envelope and make a statement yet. I'm working on that.
I do the same thing. I find myself putting a mask on when people want me to put a mask on.
Are you still in situations in your life where the mask goes on?
Couple times.
I wouldn't know where to find a mask in my house right now if I needed to.
I go to the nursing home.
Different story.
Right. But only for about half of us in there because they want you to wear the mask. So I put it on, but then I'm walking down the hall and nurses have them off. Doctors have them off.
Well, that should say
patients have it.
something.
I'm like, okay, so mine starts like slowly sliding down as I'm like walking, but I'm a rule follower, so I put one on when I go in.
When was the last time you put a mask on your face?
Saw a doctor, and I walked into the office and I didn't have a mask, and I wasn't going to say anything, and I was going to wait for them to say something. And then when they said something, I was like, I don't have any. Do you have one? And they were like, sure. And I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
and
then you put it on, and then you went on about your
I
business.
just finished the appointment and left.
They didn't accost you?
Nope, they didn't accost me. They said, sure, we got one right here. And, I was like, all right. And I threw it on.
Yeah. Linda on Facebook says all doctor offices require it. I had to dig for a mask last week. That is, I think that is, I agree with that statement that they are required, but I do think that different medical facilities do, some are more by the book than others.
You walk into a place sometimes and there's like that moment of where they're looking at you and you're looking at them and they're looking at you. And it's like, do they want a mask? Do I have to wear a mask? I'll put one on if they want one.
Don't look at them.
Well, they're like looking like, if you're not going to wear one, then I'm not going to wear one. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to wear one, I'm not going to wear one.
This really weird patient came in today, just looking at the ceiling and her feet. I don't really think she's in the wrong doctor's office. The psychiatrist is 2 doors down. Yeah, I don't. And I am to the point where if somebody was like, oh, you need to wear a mask to be in here, I'd be like, okay. And then I'd leave.
What if it's work?
Here? Hell no.
All right, I'm following you in. I'm looking at the floor right behind
There's
you.
a whole bunch of people walking around saying he only staring directly up at the ceiling. Is that possible? That we're gonna have to wear masks?
I hope not.
It better not be. Send them my way on air. Steve's in his office going, Trisha, what are you doing?
Heck?
This is good. This is Wiggins America. This is troublesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, good. I mean, that's really all I got. Masks.
I mean, when I never have been here when masks were required because I was gone.
You were still home.
So that has not been a situation that I've had to participate in. Well, no, maybe there was some time I was supposed to wear one and I didn't. But I'm on the air, so I'm not going to wear a mask while I'm on the air. And actually, when I think about it, when I came back, I think masks were still required, but there was like so much gray area between like if what is your vaccination status and I don't even know what the rules were, and I would come from outside directly into the studio and I would stay in here, like I wouldn't even go pee. So I'm like, I'd rather pee my pants than wear a mask.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at on this issue.
No, I did the same thing, and I basically, akin to not making age contact, I would just walk in, look at the floor, get to the studio.
Just put your mask on your eyes, and then you won't know. You won't know what the deal is. Yeah. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to get Hannah in here along with Trisha's going to stick around for the rest of the hour. We are going to have that YouTube poll live chat results at 2:45. So you still have about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so to get your vote counted before we go live on the air with the results, which you can continue to vote through the end of the show. Here's the poll, and you need to go vote in it right now. Yes or no? Do you support any increased gun control measure? Is this stop cleaning my? This is a country song about cleaning your gun. Hannah, applause for you. All right, go vote in the poll right now. We'll be back in just a minute with Hannah and Trisha in studio.
So you like my daughter, do you now? Yeah, we think she's something else. She's her daddy's girl, her mama's world. She deserves respect, that's what she'll get. Ain't it, son? Now y'all run along and have some fun. I'll see you when you get back, bet I'll be up all night, still cleaning this gun.
Decision 2022 is happening. Are you ready to decide? The primary candidates are here because they want to talk to you. Decision 2022. Coverage sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
So I've been talking to you about Slim 180 and how I've been working with Slim 180. I've partnered with them because they sponsor the show, and I'm super grateful for that. But at the same time, I am using Slim 180 in my life to help get the COVID weight off. And as of today, I am 19 pounds down. And this is since, this has been, I think, 18 days. And I want to talk to you about the different plans that they have at Slim 180 that you can participate in to help lose the weight that you've tried a million other ways to get rid of, or maybe you've never tried to lose weight before, but you know you're looking for something that works and you're looking for people who are going to care about you in the process. Go to Slim 180, make an appointment for a free consultation, and ask them about the different plans they have. Ask them about what I'm going through and what I'm doing, and figure out what works for you. I have been working with Trish at Slim 180, and she is the best. And I hope that you get to meet her as well. They have the Crave program, the Regenerate program, and they have the HCG program. 6 locations located across the region for you to connect with. You can find them all online at myslim180.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Ron Darling.
And I'm Jimmy Rollins.
The official baseball rulebook is full of all sorts of strange rules.
But the unwritten rulebook is even weirder.
We each come from different eras, and we each were taught to play the game in different ways.
In this new podcast series, we're going to break down all of the unwritten rules that govern the game, from throwing out a batter to stealing bases during a blowout.
Check out Unwritten from Odyssey and MLB. New episodes start June 1st.
Find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Donate your car to Goodwill and get 4 free tickets to Six Flags. Ride the greats like the Screaming Eagle or hang out at Hurricane Harbor. Donating a car to Goodwill is easy. Towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-6000. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you can get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypie.com. Pie makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pie Insurance. Ask your agent for Pie or get a quote today at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
It's time for an $89 AC tune-up.
ChevroletClaim.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
So, Todd, on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, where we're streaming live right now, and you got to go hurry up and get your vote in on the poll, which is, do you support any kind of gun control legislation? Is that what it is? Oops.
That's not Todd. That's Todd.
Do you support any increased gun control measures? That's the question. So you need to go vote there. But Todd says on YouTube, Trisha, I noticed they aren't picking on you near as much as they do Ryan. Brad, you want to speak to that?
Speak to why we're not picking on Trisha?
Yeah.
Oh, she's no fun to pick on.
It's just not the same.
It's not the same.
We gotta get Hannah in here. She's there. You are now. You're on the live stream. Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
How was your weekend?
It was really, really good. We had my niece's dance recital in Collinsville, and then I went out to my friend's property, and then I had the other recital.
So she sent a picture to our little group that she was at Zapata's Mexican restaurant.
Mhm.
And then later on, Brad sends a picture and says he's at Zapata's Mexican restaurant. Zapata's is my family's go-to Mexican restaurant. Have you been to Zapata's before?
I have, yeah. I have. And now I want Zapata.
No, it was so good.
It was amazing.
Wait,
Shout out to them. Holy cow.
For sure. On a roundabout way, we have on the Annie Frey Show, like we've got them surrounded with
We love you, Zapatas.
Mexican food support. They do it really well.
We got the regulars on one side and the militia on the other.
It's right. It's just east of the Gateway Convention Center.
Yep.
So did you just go there because it was right there, and then you're like, oh wait, is this the place Annie was talking about? Or did you see it and know?
No, it was in the parking lot. And so we were like, oh, let's go there.
So you asked us, that's right. Your first message was like, have you guys ever heard about this place?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about Zapatas before.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was just so you didn't put the two together until
No.
She might not have been here when we talked about it.
No, I had no idea.
I thought she was like, look, guys, you guys heard of it?
What-
Like,
Brad, what's
No,
your
I
favorite?
actually was like,
I know you love
is this place good or bad? Do you
No.
know it?
And then I sent you a picture of like newborn baby Molly with holding a Zapata's menu.
Yeah, she was holding it. All right.
Yeah.
With her mouth.
I took that picture and it would have been June of last year. COVID was still like thing. And I was trying to get a cute picture of her not eating, like just a cute picture of her. And then she put her mouth on it. And I remember thinking like, I'm never going to be able to show this to anyone because everyone's gonna be like, how dare you? Like child abuse. How dare you allow your child to put her mouth on a menu that other people have touched? It's disgusting. Yes, I understand that. But she also was licking the table at some point. So
It was so good. She even liked their menus.
yeah, the standards for what goes into a baby's mouth, you do your best and you're still not good enough.
well, how are you supposed to build up an immune system if you don't stick a menu in your mouth from time to time?
That's how I built up mine.
Right?
Mhm.
So what's your go-to Mexican restaurant, authentic Mexican restaurant meal?
My go-to, like my authentic meal is the street tacos, usually like fish tacos or something like that.
Yeah. What about you, Trisha?
Fajitas.
Fajitas?
Chimichanga.
Chimichanga? I like street tacos, not fish tacos. But street tacos are good.
Yeah, I love street tacos, but I go to chicken fajitas is where my go-to. That's my gauge.
Chips and salsa on the table. Like first thing, Zapatas is great at that.
Mm-hmm.
How many chips do you eat in the process of sitting at the table?
If there's two of us, at least 2 baskets.
I mean, like in the context of if you're at home and there is a bag of chips, like the amount of chips that you would eat at home, and when there's a basket of tortilla chips sitting in front of you, there's a meme out there. It's like, so how does this work with the chips and salsa at the table? Do I eat them or do I just eventually die or do you take them away?
Yeah.
Like, how does this end? It's, mindlessly
You eat them until they bring you something else to eat. Then you eat that. And then when you're done with that, they take that and you finish eating them until they bring you your check.
Everybody's
you
best
walk out
rendition of the waiter comes by and was like, would you like some more chips? And everyone's like, oh, no. Oh, okay, well, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
Bring a little
give me
cheese
one
dip.
for each. Yeah.
Yes.
I have to make sure my kids don't, like, I'm looking at them
Eat
like,
too much.
you can't eat those nonstop. You have to stop. And the adults are sitting on the other end just going,
Yep.
eating them nonstop. I was blessed yesterday. And last week we talked about doing random acts of kindness, and we all went and kind of tried to do something kind for somebody. And I specifically had said, I don't want it to be like some massive undertaking. Don't go spend a lot of money. Just do something simple and nice for somebody else just because. And I got a text message from Jen Teskey, who is a sponsor of this show, and she's a realtor for the Illinois side of the river with Remax Alliance. But she texted me and she said, Annie, I'm going to, I think she said Central Missouri. Where's Bolivar, Missouri? I have no idea. You know?
Where?
Bolivar?
Never heard of it.
She said she was going to, I think that's right, Bolivar, Missouri. She goes, I'm going to Central Missouri, and I can check for formula while I'm there, because she was going to a smaller town, and the smaller towns are usually where you can find this formula. Everybody goes to the big commercial areas and searches the places. She goes, if you want me to look while I'm there, I will see if they have any of the formula that you need. And so I told her what kind I needed, because my husband and I, between the two of us, went to over 10 different stores all over the Metro East last week to try to find one can of formula that was anything close to what Molly needs. And we didn't find any. And so she texted me, and we were looking around. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so great. Please check out for this. And for us, it's the yellow can of Enfamil. Any generic kind is fine, but it was a yellow can. And she texted me when she was in Bolivar, Missouri, and she found me a can. And
that's so good. I mean, what a scary feeling.
And Molly, she's going to be 1 year old on the 10th, which is 4 days from now. And so we need to feed her formula until she gets the, blessing from the doctor, the pediatrician, at 1 to turn over to cow's milk. And if we had to start that a week earlier, would Molly be fine? Molly would be fine. But I wanted to make sure that if we're going to make this transition and she's going to start drinking milk, I know in the past we would kind of do a little bit of both and not just go cold turkey on the formula and whatever. And so she took a picture of the shelf, and there were 3 cans there. And I said, I just need one. And she's like, are you sure? I can buy more if you need me to. And I said, no, I just need one. I want to make sure that somebody else who's going to see the 2 cans sitting there, it's going to make their day, whatever. Make more than that. So yesterday, Jen Teskey came by and dropped it off on my porch, and I have formula. And I just want to publicly thank Jen for thinking of me. Like, I did not ask her anything of her, and I haven't, there are a couple people in my family who have been like, what kind do you use or whatever? But she offered that, and she thought about me, and she went to the store and she got the formula, and Molly has the formula, and it's the last can of formula that I expect the Frey family to need. And so we made it. But in the acts of kindness thing, please consider reaching out to those families that you know personally. And if they have an infant that would be formula fed, ask them what they use, and then ask them if they need help finding it. And if they have a good store built up on their own, then what I don't want to encourage is people hoarding formula. Although I don't know if my baby was 3 months old, I don't know that I wouldn't, if I saw it, buy it, a can each time I saw it. It's just a scary position that people have been put in this country. And I'm sensitive to people who are quick to judge these moms and their behaviors, because they're the ones who've been put into this position. It's frightening. Do you have any friends who are formula feeding babies that you know of? You're kind of in that time of life where you're not in the wedding phase as much as the baby phase.
No, we're definitely in the baby phase. My only girlfriend that I can think of right now mostly breastfeeds still.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had that conversation yet. But I do know it's impacting a lot of people.
Yeah,
so.
it certainly is.
My cousin is 39 weeks pregnant and she's about to deliver any day, and it's her first child. And I just pray that she's able to find formula and hopefully the baby won't, isn't colic or anything and needs special formula, because that would be twice as hard to find.
Yeah, the first thing is to make sure that you can breastfeed, because not all women can breastfeed. It does not work. And for those who can and it goes well, that's wonderful. There will come a time for a lot of those women where they say, I want to be done with this. They should have the ability to say, I want to be done with this, and transition over to formula.
Sure.
And there should be no shame in doing that. But now we've put these women and these families and these fathers too. I don't want to discount the role of dads in this instance, who are looking at the anxiety that and the burden that is already on, like, the moms. They do a lot in this whole baby process thing. To watch your significant other be under the normal stress when things are going the way they're supposed to, and add this on top, that's a lot of anxiety for the men involved too. And I don't know that people really talk about that much.
Mm-mm.
I don't think they do either.
So the poll today on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat, which we are going to have Hannah give us the results to when we come back. Do you support any increased gun control measures? Brad?
Reduce them.
So no.
Less.
Trisha, do you have thoughts on this?
No, I think we go round and round and round on this. To me, it's always just enforce the laws on the books and let's try to keep guns out of like the mentally unstable hands of the mentally unstable. But
Hannah?
I'm gonna agree with Trisha on that. I think that's a good answer.
I wish that we could have a conversation about the differences between states. I'm surprised that there aren't more cooling off periods. What do you think about cooling off periods, Brad?
I think kind of in that sense, that's kind of a good idea, because it stops somebody from just going to the store saying, I want this, and then going out and executing the crime that they were planning on doing when they went to buy it.
I mean,
now, I don't know if it'll work, how well that works. I don't know how many people like have that kind of like, I'm going to murder somebody. They go out, they buy a gun, then they go murder somebody. I don't know how many people have that sort of emotional reaction that isn't going to stick around for 2 or 3 days. Cause like, if you're mad enough at somebody, like if you're mad enough to kill them, isn't that feeling going to stick around for 2 or 3 days?
What's a cooling off period? Is that when you purchase a gun and don't get it right away?
Certain guns, you go in, you buy it, and then you wait 3 days.
There is no federal cooling off period.
Right.
Law.
Now in Illinois
is a 72-hour cooling off period.
Does Florida have one as well?
I'm not sure.
I kind of think Florida
I think
implemented
they
that
just did
as
after
well.
Parkland.
Yeah.
There was and I'm going to go find it. I read it this weekend. There was an article that a radio station put out, and it was a summary of like definitions, like assault weapon and assault rifle. And it was really, really well put together, because it didn't seem to me that it had any sort of, that the purpose of the article wasn't slanted in any direction. It quoted the NRA, and it quoted, I can't remember what the other acronym was, as to what the NRA says about assault rifles and assault weapons. But it also talks about like what the AP says, like the Associated Press says about journalists using the term assault rifle and assault weapon. And apparently it's AP standards that saying that using those terms is problematic to the discussion because they're vague and they can be utilized in a way that implies things that aren't necessarily true. Obviously. But I thought it was interesting that the AP has a standard that is based on that. I was surprised that more places didn't have cooling off periods. I'm interested in what our audience has to say about the thought of cooling off periods, because to what Brad was saying, if I'm enraged, I shouldn't use me because Jared's listening right now. He's like, what?
Somebody's cheating on somebody.
Somebody just found their wife in bed with another man and has decided that it's time to take care of business, goes and buys a gun, picks it up at the gun store, and then goes and shoots 2 people. a cooling off period would give that individual in Illinois 72 hours to come down from the initial shock of what they experienced and maybe think about how they're going to react. And maybe they still commit the crime. Maybe they don't. But at the same time, what if an abusive husband comes home drunk and beats his wife and accuses her of doing things she didn't do and says that he's going to come back and kill her and the kids at such and such time? Should she be able to go buy a gun right then to defend herself?
I think this discussion is so
difficult.
It's so difficult. And you go round and round because I've heard people talk about red flag laws and I think, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, I'm sorry. Like if I know a guy that is not going to do any good and I can stop this, but then I think, what if I'm not trustworthy and I tell on a guy that
it could be used against people.
It could be used against people in a way that's not necessarily constitutional or right either. And it's just round and round.
And in California, they just put into legislation that they want to disallow educational systems to report behavioral issues. Was this one race-based? I'll have to go back and check, but that like for specific, I'm not 100% sure on this. I'll check it, but that they have said if there's a behavior issue in a school, it's not to be reported to law enforcement. What? Like that is bass backwards. What are you doing? Like why? Why can't we have that conversation at the same time that we have the conversation, yay or nay, about gun control?
Yeah, because they are so closely intertwined as far as sanity and like reasonable logic saying you can have a gun. And
this in the same world in California, where you have legislation saying that they don't want behavioral issues in schools to be reported to law enforcement. The same people who are making these decisions want to take law enforcement and disable the role of police officers in place of social workers and psychologists or psychiatrists or whatever, so that they can go on to actual crime scenes and assess situations there. Like if we are partnering law enforcement with psychological awareness and help and social work, this is even more of a reason to take a concern with a behavioral issue at a school and report it to the police department that you're so willfully trying to change. People are dumb. Makes me crazy. So anyway, cooling off periods. There is no federal cooling off period. I am curious what people think about that specific issue, because it's one that I think to myself, I could see a point in this. And I have never bought a gun that I needed immediately before. And I've bought a few guns in my time. The other issue that goes around that kind of a circumstance is how that is applied to what kind of guns and what kind of cooling off periods that exist, and then how politicians use that to expand upon everything else. Slippery slope. Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. Is it absolute? Not according to the President of the United States. All right, Hannah, you ready for the poll when we come back?
Yep.
People need to go to the Anti-Fry YouTube live chat right now. It's on the Anti-Fry YouTube channel, and in the live chat section on your mobile app, you just click live chat. If it doesn't come up right away on your desktop, the live chat's right next to the video. Do you support any increased gun control measures? I haven't looked at the results. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. We'll find out when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
They're now putting out pickle-flavored Mountain Dew. It's one of the several new flavors. It could be more popular than apple cinnamon, elderberry, and s'mores. No one wants any of that.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy, is waiting for your phone call so he can compete or beat your locked-in rate. I should say compete and beat. Sorry, Stewie. When you are looking to lock in the lowest rate terms that are available, You have to check with Stewie before you make that final decision on where to do your mortgage refinance. This is what you do. You call him or you text him and you say, mortgage refinance, Annie told me to do this. And then he will respond back to you. He'll know what you're talking about. This is the number to call or text 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. It's never been more important to get a second review. If you've already engaged in this process, Stewie is the guy who can give you that second opinion, and you're going to be very glad that you did. You need to reach out to him for your cash out refinance, for your new home purchase. The bagel loan can work for both of those, and when you get to use the bagel loan, no fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. It is economically the best way to go. It was for my family. I think it might be for yours as well. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Just how low will a politician go to get elected? Ask Darren Bailey. Bailey's letting J.B. Pritzker finance his campaign. Over $5 million from the Democrats meddling in our primary, trying to buy the Republican nomination for Bailey. Pritzker finally admitted it.
There's a new ad from the Democratic Governors Association to help Bailey in the primary. You're behind this ad.
Yeah, I support that ad. It elevates attention to all of the good. I'm simply trying to tell everybody who Darren Bailey is.
And Bailey's downright giddy about it.
You're glad to see those ads from the Democratic Governors Association?
Oh, yeah, I do. And that's beautiful.
So craven. Darren Bailey sold out at the drop of a dime for Democrat money. Easy to buy, easy to beat. Pritzker knows Bailey's too weak to win in November. And he shouldn't, because he's just like Pritzker. Darren Bailey raised our property taxes 13 times, 81% higher. Pritzker's favorite tax-raising Republican. We can never trust him again. Paid for by Urban for Illinois.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely.
Paid for by Chaikin Analytics. Mark Chaikin is someone you're supposed to hate. He spent 50 years on Wall Street helping to create the entire stock rating system. He's met everyone from Jim Cramer to Martha Stewart. And today, he's sharing an urgent warning to tell anyone who will listen. A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive and surprising new transition could determine the next group of millionaires, while leaving 99% of the public even worse off than before, says Chaikin. If you want to be on the right side of the huge new shift that he predicts is coming to the market, you absolutely must consider buying one particular type of investment now, before it's too late, he says. To give you the full story, he posted the biggest prediction of his 50-year career online at stockmarketwarning.com/radio, along with the name and ticker symbol of the number one investment to buy right now. Go to stockmarketwarning.com/radio to learn more, free of charge. stockmarketwarning.com/radio.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to help keep it out of our waterways and oceans. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with the new HVAC system and save $50 to $250 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying products. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
So something embarrassing just happened. And I heard the intro to the song. And you guys, if you like this show and you enjoy listening to me, I'm going to ask you to hold that thought near and dear when I tell you the rest of the story. Because you're going to hate me for a little bit. So that started, and I just looked at Hannah. I go, is this Bon Jovi? She goes, no, it's Van Halen. Like, I'm the dumbest person on
I
earth.
did not.
And
I
then,
didn't like
Don't-
that.
hey,
but
Hannah, just lean into it.
that
Own it.
in that moment, I might have been. And then she goes, "I know this from Guitar Hero." So I feel like it's a little vindicated. I don't know anything about this music. I know all the songs. I know all the artist names.
Mark Cox is somewhere going, come
I
on.
know. He's never going to talk to me again. I was actually personally talking about Mark Cox. He's super. He liked this show before. He might not ever listen to this show again.
That might have been the last thing you said to him.
Oh,
He's
he's
probably
a
going
big
to come
Van
in
Halen guy
and
too.
just throw all sorts of shade at me tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he should.
And he probably was really happy when he learned that I played that, and then probably not as happy when I said it was from Guitar Hero.
Hey,
Mark Cox is mad at everybody.
He's always mad at everybody. He's throwing stuff.
It's like his thing.
He's ragey.
I wonder if Mark Cox has ever played Guitar Hero, and I would love to see him
Has
play
Mark
it.
Cox ever played Guitar Hero that you know of, Trisha?
I don't know about Guitar Hero. I know he plays a lot of air guitar.
He ought to be good at Guitar Hero. Then.
How long have you been executive producer and affiliated with the Mark Cox Morning Show?
Since the Mark Cox Morning Show has been the Mark Cox Morning
2018
Show.
April.
Yeah,
because that's when I came here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've gotten to know Mark Cox pretty well. He takes that music pretty seriously.
He does. Yeah, and if you watch him you can see him on YouTube or on the Mark Cox Show Facebook page in the mornings, you will often see him air guitaring.
Anytime I have a question
Set my
about
alarm
Mark,
for that.
I go to Trisha. I'm like, hey, do you know this completely random fact about Mark?
Mark Cox, we talk about you all the time.
So pretty much all we talk about.
I'm trying to make him forget the beginning where I thought that was Bon Jovi.
Oh, and that hair too. He's got great hair.
He does have great hair. Alrighty. Anyway, the YouTube live chat poll. If you haven't been to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, I'm going to ask you a personal favor right now, since they screwed us over last week and I'm still working on kind of pushing back on that. They gave us a strike for our December 16th, 2020 YouTube video that was just a live stream of our show. If you would like to stick it to YouTube with me, I would love it if you would go subscribe to the channel. You don't ever have to go back to the YouTube channel again. just subscribe. And we do a live chat poll every day, and Hannah monitors that, and she pulls your comments aside if you make comments regarding the issue. And today was a good one. Hannah, what do we have so far?
The question today was, do you support any increased gun control measures? Yes or no? We had 133 votes. 77% of the people voted no. 23% of the people voted yes.
That's interesting. Does it surprise you that 23% of our audience said yes?
No. I think people are divided, not maybe on the constitutionality issue or the like matter of rights, but I think people are divided because I think people really do not want these things to keep happening.
Mhm.
Right.
And anything to stop it. That's the problem with this issue, is that increased gun control measures are only going to make law-abiding citizens participate in the new laws that they put into place.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I have heard this from law enforcement here in St. Louis City. They said it is not the AR-15s that are causing the shootings all over here. It's handguns that you can get for $25 on the street.
Yep. And not purchased legally.
Yes. And no law is going to stop that. They're going to go, no one's going to be like, I can't sell it to you, man. It's illegal.
Yeah, sorry, there's a 48-hour cooling off period.
Yeah. Come back, come see me in 48 hours
to my trunk and
fill out
2
this
days.
paperwork.
We do this paperwork.
Yeah.
And let you come on back, and then we'll get this to you.
And when you compound that truth, that criminals are committing crimes with illegally obtained firearms, and then you get politicians who can retain their power by stumping on issues, Beto, that have to do with gun control, and they utilize it for their own personal gain. Rewind this show to the way I started this show, which is a constant barrage of actual issues that involve real victims, and then the business of the woke industry or the business of politicians descends upon these victims and uses them for money. It's always about money. And when politicians are telling you this, they're trying to retain or to gain power for money. This is the cycle here. And if you're going to go and implement a bunch of new gun regulations that have nothing to do with the scenario of, guy one selling a handgun to Guy 2, who can go into North City, St. Louis, or any, across the river to some of our crime-ridden places here, or any of these cities that we hear all over the state, Chicago, and go kill somebody or graze who they were shooting at, and it lands in a kid sleeping in their bed in their home, and the kid loses their life. We don't even talk about it. We only talk about this sensational, and they are sensational in the worst possible way, crimes that are committed, like what happened in Uvalde, Texas, or Buffalo, or the multiple ones that occurred this week. We can stop those issues by maybe implementing some things that are incredibly punitive to people's Second Amendment rights and cause a whole bunch of constitutional infractions, and maybe stop one of those things, but it won't stop a single shooting from taking place in Chicago. You got some comments from listeners?
Yes. Vicky Long from YouTube says the only increased gun control measure I would want is perhaps an increase of the age limit from 18 to 21.
The most common response to that is, are we going to increase the draft age to 21? Can you go fight in war and shoot people dead because that's your mission at 18, 19, 20 and come home and not legally own? I mean, that says purchase. I don't know if owning and purchasing is different, but...
Jen Teskey commented and said, government can regulate guns, but can't regulate hearts. Our problem isn't too many guns. Our country has a troubled heart, and it is going to require some work that is far more difficult than a gun ban.
2 cheers for that. That is what I think for sure.
We had someone comment and say, I sneezed and accidentally hit the yes button. I want to change my vote.
COVID strikes again. Should have worn a mask. I don't think that would have helped your accidental click. Have you ever accidentally clicked on something on like a survey? It's really meaningless.
Yep.
And you're like, but that's not the way I feel.
That's
How do
not
I
my
fix
answer.
it? Yes,
If I could save one movie, it's not that one.
Exactly. Any other ones? You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good poll today. 23% say yes to anything being implemented, but 70%.
Is it really 23%?
77% say no more. And to Trisha's point earlier in the show, what about the laws that are on the books that we don't enforce? And I'm with Jen Teskey squarely on the heart of this country is broken and needs to be fixed. And you're not going to fix that in Congress, folks. Ever. Never. All right. We had a first edition guest hosting of Wiggins America. I can't wait to see who I dig up tomorrow. It's going to be great. So stick around. Join us on the Odyssey app and stream the show live. Rewind to 12:25 for that in-studio Darren Bailey interview. The Mark Reardon Show next.
Finding great candidates